I remember there was a time when we was kings and queens, prophets and rulers, judging the earth. But now we stuck at the bottom of the totem pole. Where did we go wrong as a people? I think our people need to understand this with a wake-up call and give them understanding of what's going on. So bring it.
Early morning, rise up, open your eyes up, looking in the mirror, it gets no clearer. Cause we don't understand our own selves, drowning in sorrow with empty Hennessy bottles upon the shelf. Cause everybody wanna be a king, selling out their soul for this mean green cream thing. Paper chasing but not facing the facts that as a nation we all done got lax and letting the devil control us. And thinking like them damn Africans, they sold us. We in captivity because they hold us. Work is hard with heavy burdens on our shoulders. Man, I thought we were some soldiers, but every second that I look, we getting creamed like Folgers. You see, the Lord done told us. So to me, there's no surprise on why they fold us.
Hey, Shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
All right, welcome to Israelite School of Biblical History and Practical Knowledge. We're here at 8524 South Bridgewood Boulevard, Houston, Texas, 77071. You can also catch us in Albuquerque, New Mexico at 501 Copper Avenue, Northwest. That's Albuquerque, New Mexico, 87102. Or if you're in the San Antonio area, we're at 4219 Center Gate Street, San Antonio, Texas, 78217. If you have any questions or comments during the course of the class, hit us up right there at the bottom of your screen at the YouTube live chat. Or you can text, please, text only, 832-941-2443. If you got any other questions or comments outside of class or that you want to be kept private during class, you can text or call Priest Kazakia at 281-707-2737. As usual, if you have any donations, again, we went over class last night. That giving spirit, if it's on your spirit to give toward what we're trying to do in Trinidad, getting the school built down there and getting brothers out to be able to travel down there, you can donate that in your Wells Fargo account. It's account number 101-580-6167. All right, it's under Israelite School of Biblical History, account number 101-580-6167. Any other kind of donations, materials like school supplies, office supplies, books, any old books, dictionaries, thesaurus, etymology books, things like that. The older the better. You can send those to the school addresses. Or, if you have canned goods, clothing, shoes, things like that will help the homeless in the community. You can send those in also to the same school address. Israel Wear on Facebook is going to be the ones making your garments. The sisters will be making your garments. So if you want to place your orders, go to Israel Wear on Facebook. Israel Wear, W-E-A-R. All right. If you want to email us about any topics or anything like that, any ideas for cable shows that you want to have touched over, any classes you want to have touched over, you can email us at hiddentruth12. That's hiddentruth12@gmail.com. Tomorrow is kids class. Every Sunday we have kids class from noon to 1 p.m. All right. That's going to resume in May. All right. From noon to 1 p.m. I'm sorry. So not tomorrow, but it'll resume in May. Every Sunday, noon to 1 p.m. we have kids class, and we film that. We do that live on ISB HPK Kids. All right. That's ISB HPK Kids on YouTube. So we're going to get into the reading today. As usual, though, for the first hour of class, we open it up for questions. So if you have any questions on any topic, today's the day. All right? I'll ask from anybody in class. Do y'all have questions so far? All right. And then if we have anything online, just let me know, all right? But as y'all know, the Sabbath class is usually we do questions, and we do the Sabbath morning reading. And today's reading is going to take us to Leviticus chapter 12, verse 1. So it looks like the theme of the class is like conception, you know, for a woman's conception, the time of uncleanness, and I think somebody asked about this last night during class too. So this would be a good topic for them to be able to watch. If you can put the scriptures instead as the title, put them in the description underneath, and then as the title, you can just put conception. All right. So yeah, we'll be doing that like every Sabbath class. Instead of putting the scriptures for the title, just put the topic of the class. All right, so everybody go to St. John chapter 2, verse 1 through 12, and this is a question that was online.
John chapter 2, verse 1.
Go ahead, read that.
St. John chapter 2 and verse 1. And the third day was a marriage in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. And both Jesus was called and his disciples to the marriage. What was I going to? Or just the first one?
You went all the way to 12.
Okay, come. Verse 3. And when they wanted wine, the mother of Jesus said unto him, They have no wine. And Jesus said unto her, Woman, what have I to do with thee? Mine hour is not yet come. His mother said unto the servants, Whatsoever he saith unto you, do it. And there were set there 6 water pots of stone, after the matter of the purifying of the Jews, containing 2 or 3 frankincense apiece.
Firkins.
Firkins apiece. 7. Jesus said unto them, Fill the water pots with water, and they filled them up to the brim. And he said unto them, Draw out now, and bear unto the governor of the feast. And they bare it. When the ruler of the feast had tasted the water that was made wine, and knew not whence it was, but the servants which drew the water knew, the governor of the feast called the bridegroom, and sent unto him, Every man at the beginning doeth set forth good wine, but and when men have well drank, then that which is worse. But thou hast kept the good wine until now. This beginning of miracles did Jesus in Cana of Galilee, and manifest forth his glory, and his disciples believed on him. After this he went down to Capernaum. He and his mother and his brethren and his disciples. They continued there not many days.
That's it?
Gone.
Okay, I mean, it's pretty evident. What he's showing you is that was one of Christ's first documented miracles so far as the scriptures are concerned, was the wedding feast at Canaan, and Cana, and what he did was he had turned the water that they had ran out of. They had run out of wine, and he turned the water into wine. All right. Now, just to show you the power of Christ and the power of what happened during creation. You know, they say, it says, he created the world in 7 days and things like that, and people don't find that hard to believe. Now, we know that was over a course of 7,000 years, but they still, try to make that like, no, the earth is so many billion years old and so many million years old. Okay, well, one of Christ's first miracles to show you that he is the one that did that is that he made water into the best wine. The best wine is aged wine, but he did it instantly. All right? As soon as they brought the water out, he changed it into wine. And the master of the feast said, you have saved the good wine until the last. All right? So that's showing you right there. He's showing you that he's the one that did that. When you read the scriptures, it says that by the word of the Most High, the heavens were of old. Y'all see that? So you got to know that the earth was created in that time frame that we see in Genesis, and it was already appeared as if it had been around for a long time. And that's what baffles these so-called scientists and everything, why they want to say the Bible's wrong and science is right, because they don't understand the scriptures. Again, the things of the scriptures have to be spiritually discerned. You have to see them by the scriptures. You can't go off and by some fairy tale. They taught you in church, oh yeah, it was 7 days and that was it. No, the scriptures show you it was a period of 7,000 years, right?
God.
Then science is going to tell you, oh yeah, well, it would have took longer than that. Okay, well, when we go to 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 5, we find out that these people are ignorant of the things of the scriptures. They're not discerning spiritually that, no, the scriptures aren't saying that he created everything in 7 days only. They're saying it took a course of 7,000 years. Because when you read the scriptures, it says a day to the Most High is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years but a day. Right? Okay, so 2 Peter 3 and 5 says what?
2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 5.
2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 5.
Read.
For this they willingly are ignorant of that.
See, they're willingly ignorant of this thing they purposefully, they know what's going on, what actually took place, but they're willingly ignorant. They're just denying it, saying, "Oh, you know what? That didn't happen. It happened the way science says it." You understand? It's funny because it's more thought-provoking to them. It's more intelligent to them to say that the entire universe exploded from something the size of a little period at the end of the sentence, right? And we all came, and dinosaurs and human beings that think and make cars and things like that all came from a little tiny period that was just in nothingness, right? Nothingness existed, and then something exploded, even though nothing was there, and we all shot out, right? And that just happened to take billions of years. That makes more sense to them than to say that, hey, someone created this orderly system, and the orderly systems of your body, and the orderly systems of the way the planet works and everything like that. Someone created those things. Y'all see that? It makes more sense to them to say nothing exploded and everything came from that. That don't make no damn sense. What's that?
So if so is what you're saying is typically the nations are willingly ignorant. Is that what you're saying? The scriptures is explaining to us, and they're not spiritually discerning like Israel is, because the Most High gave us that ability to become spiritually discerning. I mean, I don't get it.
I think you missed it yesterday when we were talking about what the spirit is. The sister had asked, what is it to be spiritual?
Right.
All right.
I caught it.
You caught it. Okay.
I was listening to that one before that.
So we're able to discern the things of the Bible through the scriptures, right? We get to understand it through this. So when we see that, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, and then we look over this period of 6-7 days, and we see that, we know through the scriptures that it took a few thousand years, right? But they, without the scriptures, they just say, no, that's not believable. It's not believable the whole earth and the universe was created in 7 days, right? And so they're willingly ignorant. They're deciding, you know what? We're going to push away the Bible, and we're going to depend on our science. It makes more sense. See that? Okay, well, what makes more sense? That everything exploded from nothing makes more sense to you than someone created this? You're willingly ignorant. You're trying to be stupid. You see that? Like, you know better. You know that your way doesn't make more sense than the scriptures does. But you're going to say that your way is better. See that? Or you know that a lot of the science that they're talking about doesn't make any damn sense. But they're going to say, okay, this makes more sense to us than what the scriptures say.
So for Israel to have that mentality, then that means they're just rejecting. They're rejecting the Most High, and they're too being willingly ignorant.
Oh yeah. That's exactly what's going on with the world.
So that's the spirit of the world.
Yeah, or the spirit of Israel too. When you read Hosea 4:6, they're destroyed for lack of knowledge because they have rejected knowledge.
Okay.
He has rejected us. See that? So we got rejected in the first place for rejecting the knowledge of the Most High, depending on what the world told us.
Right.
You see that? Just like we do today. Today it's like, we tell them, Adam and Eve didn't bite an apple. Oh, but that's not right. Or Adam and Eve weren't the only two people on earth. Oh no, that ain't what the Bible say. Like, yeah, it is, but you just ain't reading it.
Right.
You going off what your preacher told you, and you ain't even. All we're doing is telling you to read page 1. That's it. But you want to go off what your preacher said rather than do this. Like, that's all you got to do. That's all we're telling you to do. Do this, and there it is. But no, I'm going off my preacher told me Adam and Eve were the first 2 created beings. Well, your preacher was wrong. Because the Bible tells you that male and female created he them, right? It told them to be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. Then it tells you that he pulled Adam out of the dust of the earth. Right? Then the scriptures show you that the dust of the earth represented the nations of people that were already there. You see that? But they're willingly ignorant of this, meaning they don't want to read the Bible. They don't want to get the precepts so they can get understanding.
So the spiritual discernment comes from the reading of the Bible. But some of them read the Bible. Some of them, they don't have the understanding like Israel does, right?
Right.
Because the Most High would give them that.
Right. And even on that, they're willingly ignorant. You see that? They're reading the Bible, but they don't want to understand it. See that? Again, they'll read it, but they won't use precept on precept to get understanding, like David said. You see that? So they'll read it like a novel, and then they'll use their own interpretation, or they'll use their own thought process based off of what they think it should say. You see that? In case in point, your pastors, they read the scriptures, right? They go give you plenty of long-winded sermons, and they base it off a scripture or 2 or something like that. But why don't they give you precept on precept for what they believe that the scriptures say? Because what the scriptures say doesn't back up what they think. See that? Like, they tell you it's okay to eat all foods now. Well, where's the precepts for that? Oh, Peter. But it doesn't say Peter ever ate it. When I actually open the book and read it, it doesn't say he ate those foods. Right? It doesn't even say that they were foods. It says they were unclean beasts. And he presented them and said, kill and eat. You see that? But Peter said, I've never eaten anything common or unclean. Not even Christ touched down and said, hey, everybody can eat pork. Which he didn't say, right? But that's how they interpret the thing. And they're willingly ignorant. They're shoving aside the scriptures and they're putting in their own doctrine. You see that? But because they did use 1 or 2 scriptures, now everybody thinks, oh, okay, this guy's teaching me out of the Bible. No, he's not. You see that? If you read the Bible, you would get it. But you're willingly ignorant. Why? Because you're lazy. Israel's lazy and slothful. They don't want to actually go in and do it themselves. They just want it spoon-fed to them. You see that? What's that?
I like that when you say willingly ignorant, because I can use a great example for that. Like a family member, I told them about the poor. And they saw now, it's all right, they did, because all things God made is good. I didn't say all things God made good. Of course, that's true. But the good of that pig was to clean up slop.
Right.
That's what the good in him was.
Right. If all things he made are good, then why don't you eat do? Like, why don't you eat what comes out of the pig? You just follow them around and just eat that.
When they close to it, they do what they call that, what they used to call shitless, they close.
Right? Ain't that their custom? Like, they drop some on the floor, 3-second rule, they pick it up. God made dirt don't hurt. They brush it off, blow it off. Why you brushing off the dirt and blowing it off? Eat the dirt too. God made that too. Right? What you brushing it off for? That's extra seasoning, right? Compared for you, right? You're a human garbage disposal. God made everything. You can eat everything. Eat your car. Or chew on your tires. You know what I mean? Why are we bothering to sit? Why is your woman bothering to slave in the kitchen when everything God made is food to you? You see that? Yeah, we ain't gotta cook nothing, man. Just go eat the horse right off the bone. You know what I mean? Go find your dog and bite him on his tail and just grab it. You know what I mean? Like, why you ain't doing those things? Oh, because now you have standards? So it's okay for you to draw the line and have standards, but when the Most High draws the line and has standards, you don't want to follow.
That's a good one. I like that.
You see that? But this is that willing ignorance, man. Because once you take them to that point, they got to see that, oh, dang, you know what I'm saying is stupid. My thought process is wrong. But so I either got to be prideful as hell to not give it up, or I got to give it up. It's one of those two things. But they're willingly ignorant. You see that? That they say, okay, well, I'm going to hold on to my pride rather than not get diabetes and heart disease.
Right.
You see that? What's that?
This is just the definition of ignorant,
Right.
and it portrays to the definition, but it says, to the scripture, it says uneducated, lacking knowledge or awareness in general. Some synonyms for it is untaught, untutored, unread, unlearned, unenlightened, and like you said, with the reason of being prideful, or that you don't want to humble yourself down and actually learn, from those that have the wisdom, and that's the
I'm teaching on what she just said a minute ago. How she was saying how God gave us that spirit like that. Just spiritual sense that God gave me. I know God ain't gonna tell me right here something unclean, then come back here and say it's good. That's just my common. That's right. There you go right there.
That's common sense. Right?
Exactly. So why would I sit up there and read where he said this is unclean for you? Then another scripture, all things God made is good. Oh well, that means I can eat this. No, God didn't say I could eat that. He said it's unclean for me to eat. Just because he said all things he made is good, didn't mean he told me to go over here and eat this. That's where I get where he's saying where he gave up. Because even before I came to this truth, that was common sense to me.
Right. See that? And that's another thing. Like it says, the Spirit bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. Right? So a lot of these things we knew naturally. You see that? But we still needed the scriptures so that to fill in the things we didn't know. You see that? What's that?
We have a couple of questions if you.
All right, so hopefully that gives you the answer to that. I want you to finish the rest of that scripture, and then we'll get the next question.
Come. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 5. For this they willingly are ignorant of, that by the word of God the heavens were of old.
See, and this was what Christ was reminding us at this wedding feast, is that he's the word of the Most High, and by him the heavens were of old. By me, I made this water into old wine. Y'all see that?
Okay.
Right, so he's showing you that he was basically showing everybody that he's the one that made everything. All right, as we read in St. John chapter 1. Go ahead.
And the earth standing out of the water and in the water.
Right, so giving you again the location of the earth in relation to the rest of the universe. It's standing in the water, but out of the water. It's separated by that dome. All right. Let's see. Mine's not catching all the questions. So what's the next question?
She asked, could you please explain John 2, 1 through 12?
Yeah, that's the one we were just going over.
She said, so the important, she set the water. So the important part to take away from John 2:1-12 is the spiritual aspect of Christ's first miracle and not the relevance of having a wedding feast. Question.
I mean, it's giving you a little bit of both. It's giving you our Hebrew custom. Remember, the scripture teaches us all things, so we can pull a lot of things from this story. All right, but yeah, we did have wedding feasts. That goes all the way back into Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. That goes all the way back to those days. We had wedding feasts. We had the celebrations and things like that. So it's not relevant to have one, like it's not necessary to have one, but we did have wedding feasts. So it's giving you a little bit of our culture and our custom at the time. All right. Also showing you, kind of what people are lacking when they go to when they read the story of Christ, the birth of Christ, and they want to say that he was born of a virgin. Oh, before they came together. Well, we had wedding feasts. It helped signify for the entire surrounding population that you were married. All right. So all your friends and neighbors and family knew that y'all had been married. Why? Because they went to the feast. They weren't going to go in. We didn't have our families come in the tent while we was having sex with our woman the first night. So the feast signified that we were married. That you were married. But when it says, the scripture says, before they came together, it was before they had the feast, before they went to the priest and everything. You see that? This was our custom, just like it is now, right? If you see a woman, she's walking up to the altar with a big baby bump, right? You're like, wait a minute, they had sex outside of wedlock. No, they didn't. They got married before they came together. You see that? They already did the deed before they came together publicly. You see that? So it's not nothing wrong. They just decided they had to jump the gun. Y'all see that? So this wouldn't be strange to you if you thought spiritually, if you thought with common sense and the precepts. If you were looking at this scripture and seeing, oh yeah, we had wedding feasts that signified that two people were married. We didn't just bang out in public. Y'all see that? No, this is this is the significance of what the scripture's talking about during the birth of Christ. That before they came together, she was found with child of the Holy Spirit. Y'all see that?
No.
All right, so yeah, you can pull both from that. That's it, right? All right. Well, again, if y'all have any more questions, and for Askia Shamari, hopefully that answered your question. But if y'all have any other questions during the course of the class, y'all can just ask them on there live, and we're going to go into the reading. Okay. So the reading is going to begin at, where are we at? Leviticus
12 verse 1.
12 and 1. All right. Oh, okay. So first reader, we'll have you, Priest Zion, go ahead and read that.
This will be Leviticus chapter 12 verse 1 through Leviticus chapter 13 verse 25.
Leviticus chapter 12 verse 1 through 13 verse 25. Go ahead.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If a woman have conceived seed, and born a man-child, then she shall be unclean 7 days. According to the days of the separation for her infirmity shall she be unclean.
Okay. So when she has the man-child, it's saying she's unclean. Not that she's dirty and filthy and garbage. All right. Not that she's defiled, like as if you eat pork or something like that. But she's unclean. She's had blood on her. She's had water and everything like that on her. And just in case any kind of, bloodborne diseases or anything happened during the pregnancy or anything like that, he didn't want the people around that blood. All right? So she was to be unclean for 7 days. All right? It says, a woman have conceived seed and born a man child, then she shall be unclean 7 days. So she is unclean 7 days, right? For just on that aspect of it. So she can't come into the congregation. She can't be a part of the feasts and things like that, according to what we're reading right here. All right. So if a woman, that's why we had Passover, and then 30 days later we have another Passover, because there was people that might have been unclean, had buried a body that day or previously, something like that, where okay, they're unclean for today, but in 30 days they can enjoy the Passover again. Y'all see that?
So hold on, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
So I think last night, didn't you say that those were ceremonial laws?
There you go. You were ceremonially unclean.
Right. Okay. So, but it's also sanitary too, right?
Yeah.
To keep, like you just mentioned, to keep other people from, if there's any airborne disease. So it served two purposes.
Right. So you had the 5 types of laws, and y'all can write these down if you haven't known these before. But you had moral, you had civil, you had ceremonial, you had dietary, and then you had sacrificial laws.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, obviously, the sacrifice of the animals, that was done away with Christ, right? But the ceremonial laws and the civil laws kept you clean and neighborly. You see that? It kept germs and diseases and infections from spreading and things like that. If a person was leprous, okay, you put them out of the camp, and they have to say that they're unclean so nobody comes toward them. You see that? And catches that disease off them. So there were certain things. If you were wounded in your stones, if you had been, if you had your private part cut off, right? You couldn't be in the congregation. Why? Because there's no bandage you can really put on that. So when you gotta pee, it just comes out. When you're bleeding, it just kind of doesn't stop. You see that? It takes a long time for that to heal. So you were ceremonially unclean. You couldn't be amongst the congregation like that. You see that? So, this is one of those things that she wasn't like unclean like a leper, but for 7 days, you left her alone because of that blood. All right. It said, then she shall be unclean 7 days, according to the days of the separation of her infirmity, shall she be unclean. All right. So that's the 7 days was the same as if she had her menstrual cycle because of the blood. All right. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And in the 8th day the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised.
Right.
And she shall then continue in the blood of her purifying 3 and 30 days.
See, so she's going to continue in being purified for 33 days. So all total, she was unclean for 40 days if she had born a man child. All right. So if she had a boy, then she was unclean for 40 days. Ceremonially unclean for 40 days. All right. Go ahead.
She shall touch no hallowed thing.
Right. So she wasn't to touch none of the holy things. All right. She wasn't supposed to come into the temple. She wasn't supposed to eat of the sacrifices. Nothing like that. Go ahead.
Nor come into the sanctuary until the days of her purifying be fulfilled.
Right. Simple as that. All right. Go ahead.
Verse 5. But if she bear a maid child, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks.
Right. So if she in the case of her bearing a girl, and she had a girl, she was unclean for 2 weeks. All right. So double that time. Go ahead.
As in her separation, and she shall continue in the blood of her purifying 66 days.
Right. So that was 66 days plus the 2 weeks plus the 14 days. Right. So that brought you to about 80 days. All right. So she was unclean for 80 days if she had a man girl, and for 40 days if she had a boy. You understand?
Fine.
All right. So that now you got to think about that. Yeah, you got to think about that though. So that means, because somebody asked about multiple wives last night. You know what I mean? And they usually do that just for no reason, but. You think about it. Okay, you're a man. Your woman just had a girl, so you go without for 2 months, or 80 days is almost 3 months. You see that? Well, 90 days is 3 months. See that? So you going almost 3 months where you don't get to touch your woman. You see that? Where you don't get to deal with her at all. How we get 12 tribes of Israel out of that? Or for 40 days, right? 40 days you're going without touching your woman. So you gotta wait all that time from the time the baby has been conceived to the time it's born, right? Then you gotta wait that other 40 days for her to be clean again. Y'all see that? Because if you mess with her, you're unclean. You see that? Okay, so what did we do to keep that from happening? What did we do to, for that time frame? A man had another wife. You see that? We had dealt with that situation like that. And that's why the Most High kind of brought that down, because there were many things besides just this where the woman was unclean. You see that? So you already waited a year, then you waited the 40 days or the 80 days, and then she's on her menstrual now. Right? Then next month, here it is again. It's like, come on, man. You're going to be dealing with your woman. Y'all see that? You still going to have those needs. Well, here it's showing you, okay, we separated that. We separated that aside. We didn't have that woman around other people and things like that while she was in her blood, while she was still healing up. All right, we gave her that time. It wasn't just a time of, well, you're dirty. Y'all see that? No, it was also for her to be able to rest and heal. Y'all see that? For her body to properly repair itself, because what do they do in the hospital? You have the baby, like almost as soon as they hand it to you, they're like, all right, see you later. Yeah. Like, damn, can I chill for a minute? You've been sweating and breathing and bleeding and tearing and everything for sometimes 24 hours. And then they tell you the next day, oh, okay, here's your baby, see you later. Walk out to your car, or you out to the car and you gotta walk from there, right? And then work tells you, oh yeah, get back to work. You know what I mean? You get a month and you go back to work. But what if you had a C-section, or what if the delivery didn't go right? Well, you still get the same time of mercy from them, right? Oh, you got a month off. You got a maternity leave, however long that is anymore, right? If they even give you that.
6 weeks.
6 weeks? This was the Most High giving that woman a mandatory 40 to 80 days off. Y'all see that? Good. Now, again, balancing it out. Proverbs 31. Who's doing all those things that the Proverbs 31 woman does when she's off for 2 months, 3 months? Who's doing all that? Who's providing meat for her household? Who's making the garments? Who's feeding the kids? Who's doing these things while her husband's in the gates? The other one. Y'all see that? What's that, sis?
I was going to ask, what about when Mary had Yahushai? Was she separated for, 40 days?
Yeah.
From people?
Yeah.
Her husband and everybody?
Yeah. That's what you had to do. That was law. Remember, when you deal with Mary, she did everything according to the law. Because we're going to read down where they were supposed to give the sacrifice, right? They're supposed to give the sacrifice of a lamb and a dove. And if you were poor, you gave 2 doves. When you read about Mary, when she had her child, she went and gave the sacrifice of 2 doves because they were broke. Y'all see that? So she kept the law. All right? She was from the house of David, so that was a requirement. You see that? She kept the law. She was unclean for 40 days, so they were separated for 40 days. You see that? But what made you ask?
Oh, just wondering, because I just was wondering if that was said in the scripture to where she or when she was, I guess trying to hide Yahushai, was that when he was, or when she had him, and then, was she just completely separated from the day she had him from everybody, like including her husband and everybody who went to visit Yahushua as a baby? Was that after 40 days?
Well, it doesn't say how all the the time period went down. It does tell you that they saw his star in the east, and then it obviously took them an amount of time to travel to there. So it's not like what they feed you in the nativity scene where it's like she pops him out, and 3 wise men disappear in the place, and hey, yeah, we knew he was going to be born today. You know what I mean? It gives you the time. It gives you a kind of a time period that hey, they saw his star in the east. You know, they came to worship him, right? But they had to follow that star. They had to find him. You know what I mean? When he was born, Herod had sent them out. Hey, go find this child. They're supposed to be born on this day, right? Then they had to travel to find him. All right, but I'm gonna show you this in the scriptures concerning Christ's birth. It says, let me see.
That's a good question.
Hebrews 7 verse, no, that's not it. Where did it go, man? No, I can't find it. Oh God! Now it's taking me all day. Hold on. Sorry, it's taking me a second to find this one, man. There it is. Okay. Galatians 4:4. Wow.
Galatians chapter 4, verse 4. But when the fullness
Everybody got it?
oh God. But when the fullness of the time was come, the Most High sent forth his son, made of a woman, made under the law.
Right. So we're reading the law right now, right? This is how Christ was made. He was made under the law. So, did she follow this? Yeah, it says she was made. He was made under the law. So if he was born through a woman, she was unclean for 40 days. This is how it went down. His whole making was under the law. Remember, he did no sin, right? So he was made under the law. Alright? For what purpose? Read verse 5.
Verse 5. To redeem them that were under the law.
Right. The purpose of that was to redeem them that were under the law, that were under that curse of the law. You see that? The purpose of it was to show us that are under the law, hey, listen, you can follow the law. I'm a man, I was born out of a woman, and we followed the law since I've been born. Y'all see that? Let's see. Go ahead.
That we might receive the adoption of sons.
See that? So that we could receive that same adoption, that we could be called the children of the Most High. Why? By choosing not to sin, just like he did. All right. So we can follow the laws. There's no excuse because Christ was some deity or Christ was some demigod or something like that. All right. What's that?
You took the words out of my mouth. That's how I like to see. I said, well, you know, he was God. He could do that.
Right.
You know, that's the excuse that I would always hear. I said, well, I mean, where he said he was God? I said, show me where he said he was God, number one. And number two, he was born from a woman.
Right.
He was born like we were born. He was raised, growed up. I was up to the age of 33.
Right.
Walked the earth, felt. When you pinch him, he can feel it.
Right.
Got hungry. I mean.
But see, they're attributing all this to that because it gives them an excuse. They're willingly ignorant. You see that?
God.
It's going right back to that. So yeah, when you deal with Christ, so far as your question, when you deal with that, yeah, it said he was he was made after the law.
Wow.
You see that? So everything he did we're reading the law that he followed, that his mother followed. All right. That remember, his father was a just man, so he would have kept her. Okay, you're unclean for 40 days. You see that? His circumcision, he would have been circumcised the 8th day at 12 years old. When we read in Luke, right? We read in Luke chapter 2, was 2 verse 42? Yeah. At the time of the Passover, they went to go pay the tax for him for being 12 years old. All right? So we're seeing these different things that they followed the law every step of his ways. All right? But it's not going to say specifically, and he put her away for 40 days, she was unclean.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was just... By this time, it's like how we speak. You know, there's certain things we slow down and we edify on for people that are new. But then when you've been here a while, we'd be like, yeah, you Judites. And a new person would be like, what's a Judite? Right? But you've been here a while, so you already know we talking about Negroes. Right? Same thing. By this time, you'd already known what the law was. We ain't got to go in and be like, okay, and then, because they did tell you about the 2 doves, right? So they're showing you that, listen, she kept the law, so we shouldn't have to explain how she kept every single law. We told you he was a just man, so you should know that for 40 days he didn't deal with her. For 40 days she wasn't able to come into a temple or anything like that, being unclean. All right? Go ahead. All right, so, when you read this, on the 7th day, like for a man-child, right? For the 7th day, for the 7 days she was unclean, right? And then it goes on, it tells you for another 33 days she's unclean. Well, in between there, it tells you that he was supposed to be circumcised on the 8th day. That means she would come to the priest with her husband and the child, and they would present the child to the priest to be circumcised. So she could go in on that 8th day for that circumcision, but then she was to be separated and not come back into the temple or around the sanctuary for another 33 days. See that? With a woman child, it was 2 weeks, and then she could present the woman child to the priest and have them do the sacrifice for the child and everything like that, the 2 doves or the lamb and the dove, right? And then she was separated another 66 days. You see that? So she was unclean on that time ceremonially to come around, and then the Most High gave her a time to rest, to rebuild, to rejuvenate. You see that? So it's not male chauvinism. This was for the woman's sake. All right? It's not one of those things where she comes into the sanctuary, the whole building burns up. right? The holy water starts bubbling, the showbread gets moldy, the veil rends, you know what I mean? The ark tips over, right? No, she came in, that she had defiled the sanctuary with blood. You understand? So he didn't want that going on. He didn't want her around people where she might give a communicable disease to other people. Y'all see that? What's that?
I was just gonna say, last night you had made a point. I think you quoted that scripture about our thoughts are not of the Most High, and our ways are not of His.
Right.
Whenever He does anything, it's perfect.
Oh yeah.
So when we like go against it or second question it, it's like, but He's perfect, so He's not gonna implement anything that's gonna be wrong. He's not gonna implement anything that is not gonna be beneficial for us.
And the problem is you have to trust that. Though.
Exactly.
You have to trust that He's doing things
Exactly.
because He's looking out for us.
Exactly.
Right.
But He's perfect, so all of His ways are perfect. So it's nothing about Him is gonna be wrong.
Yeah. And just like, the scripture we went over last night also was, if you want to know the mind of the Most High, right? He gave it to you right here. So if you read the precepts, you find out, okay, well, how come she's more unclean for this person? Or how come she has to be separated? Well, let's go into the rest of the laws. You know what I mean? That these were for cleanliness. Well, let's go into the other laws that are showing you that these things were for the rest and rejuvenation of the body, for the land, for these things like that.
Right.
But he also told you could do it or not. You know what I mean? If you don't do it, you'd probably die. You know what I mean? And what do we see today? Millions of blood-borne communicable diseases that could have been, what is the word? It could have been stopped, basically. Prevented. There it is. It could have been prevented if they would have just kept the laws, kept the cleanliness laws. You wouldn't have to go get shots and all these things to prevent yourself from getting a bloodborne disease or something like that if the people that had bloodborne diseases were separated from other people.
I don't know.
You see that? What's that?
No, that's something. I didn't even know about this, just not really hearing about all the uncleanness. I read, but some of the stuff I'm still learning. But
Right.
Just my common sense told me that I had this procedure I had done over a month ago, 2 months ago.
Right.
Not to come over here. That was just my common sense said I'm not healed.
Right.
I'm not gonna sit over there fun. I'm still got stitches in me. That was before I just found this out.
Right. Yeah.
My common sense said I don't want to go sit it like that.
Right.
It was stitches in me. I just look at it online.
Now that's the Spirit telling you that, man. That's the Spirit telling you, hey, keep yourself separate. You see that? Give yourself time to heal. Give yourself time to rest. See that? You don't want to pop no stitches around brothers and sisters. You know what I mean?
I sure don't.
Right. So yeah, like I said, these things were, like you said, they're perfect. They were perfect for you, for the person that it was happening to, and for the community around you. Y'all see that? Where we at?
This is Leviticus chapter 12 and verse 6.
Go ahead.
And when the days of her purifying are fulfilled, for a son or for a daughter, she shall bring a lamb of the first year for a burnt offering, and a young pigeon or a turtle dove for a sin offering unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation unto the priest. Verse 7. Who shall offer it before the Lord and make an atonement for her, and she shall be cleansed from the issue of her blood. This is the law for her that hath borne a male or a female.
See that? So she went to the priest, right? It says, when the days of her purifying are fulfilled for a son or for a daughter, she shall bring a lamb of the first year for a burnt offering, and a young pigeon or a turtle dove for a sin offering unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation unto the priest. So now she's able to go to the priest and everything and give her offering. Y'all see that? Alright, so go ahead.
Come. And the priest shall make an atonement for her, and she shall be clean. This is chapter 13, Leviticus chapter 13 and verse 1.
All right. So any other questions on that?
Ah.
All right. So we got. All right, go ahead.
Leviticus chapter 13 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, When a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising, a scab, or a bright spot, and it be in the skin of his flesh like the plague of leprosy, then he shall be brought unto Aaron the priest, or unto one of his sons the priest. And the priest shall look on the plague in the skin of the flesh, and when the hair and the plague is turned white, the plague in sight be deeper than the skin of his flesh, it is a plague of leprosy. And the priest shall look on him and pronounce him unclean.
Right. So if you had a pimple kind of looking thing, right, and they looked on it and they seen that it wasn't just on the top of the flesh like a pimple, right, but it formed like an abscess, or it formed like a, it was deeper than just skin deep, right? But it was actually inside, because if you get an abscess, the top of it appears like a regular pimple, right? But then the whole bottom of it be like grapefruit sized up in your loins somewhere or whatever, right? So they would say, okay, that's deeper than just a pimple. All right, he's unclean. He gotta go, because why? What an abscess is a bunch of blood and pus and everything like that done got infected. And it's now forming a ball, your body's trying to get rid of it. Now at a certain point, that thing's gonna pop like a pimple, except it's gonna let out a whole bunch. I don't know if y'all seen the videos, man, where they got Esau. He got the big giant lump on his back, and his girl's got gloves on, and she's grabbing it and squeezing it, and this thing's just shooting out all this white stuff and everything, right?
So nasty.
You gotta see the video, it'll make you want to throw up, man. But you think the Most High would want that in the temple? You know what I mean? People trying to praise the Most High, but they like trying to duck your ooze before it shoots out on it, right? Yeah, like what was that liar when he walked up to the dude and he had a big old white head right here, and he's like trying to, you know what I mean? Like people don't want to be around that. It's not clean. So they will put you out of the temple, being ceremonially unclean. You would be put out. Y'all see that? Until that went away, because you'll see. Watch, read on.
Verse 4. If the bright spot be white in the skin of his flesh, and in the sight be not deeper than the skin.
See that? Go ahead.
And the hair thereof be not turned white, then the priest shall shut up him that hath the plague 7 days.
So if they saw you had a pimple or something like that, which is showing you that having pimples and stuff like that, that's a curse, man. That's part of the curses. We didn't get that. The foods we ate and things like that didn't give us pimples and zits and everything like that. You see that? And when we did get it, we had to have it examined by the priest, and they would say, okay, well, don't come around for 7 days. Just on a pimple. Y'all see that? Don't come around for 7 days. Don't be in the congregation for 7 days, just in case this turn, because that's how abscesses start. They look like nothing but a pimple or something like that, and then next thing you know, it gets infected and it starts growing and growing. So they say, okay, well, we got to make sure it's not going to grow. So you be put out for 7 days, and then what?
God. Verse 5. And the priest shall look on him the 7th day, and behold, if the plague in his sight be at a stay, and the plague spread not in the skin, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days more.
Right. So okay, it look like it's not getting bigger, right? It's not spreading. You're not getting more of them. So okay, you got another 7 days, and then you should be okay to come back. Y'all see that? You should be okay for temple service, or you should be okay for the ceremonies and things like that. Y'all see that? Go ahead.
Verse 6. And the priest shall look on him again the 7th day, and behold, if the plague be somewhat dark, and the plague spread not in the skin, the priest shall pronounce him clean. It is but a scab, and he shall wash his clothes and be clean.
So ain't that what happens with the pimple, right? You pop it, you scratch it, whatever, and then it gets that scab over it. All right, the turns into what they call not a pockmark. It's like a
Nike.
blackhead, right?
Blemish.
That's it. That's what we're talking about.
It's amazing to me how it says if it's dark, it's clean.
Right. Right.
That's true. The world teaches us that's the opposite.
Steve, baby.
Right.
Dark is dirty and unclean.
Right. So it did. So it got dark. It turned into that blackhead. It didn't spread. Right. Then it's just a scab, and he's gonna wash himself. You had to wash your clothes, wash yourself, and you were unclean, or you were clean. All right. Go ahead.
Verse 7. But if the scab spread much abroad in the skin, after he hath been seen of the priest for his cleansing, he shall be seen of the priest again. And if the priest see that, behold, the scab spreadeth in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean.
Right. See, so you got a lot of super Hebrews that don't know the law, man. You see that they come around and they sit around in the congregation talking about how you ain't doing the Sabbath right and got pimples. You ain't even supposed to be here. So that's why we don't. You see why we're not so stringent now. Now it's like, okay, so much of your mind is defiled, you don't even know the law. Just sit down. Just sit down and learn. We don't care about your pimple. Some women end up on their menstrual cycle. As long as you ain't trailing blood through the floor, just come on in and get your spirit right. Because you're sitting over here judging things you do not understand, and that's more defiled than any pimple or blemish or whatever. You see that? So we're not so stringent and that's why we're trying to say that. Well, what I'm trying to say is to provide that balance. That just because we're reading these things, don't all of a sudden decide, oh well, yeah, I couldn't come to class, I had a pimple, I'm unclean for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? I went to the doctor, he said it was just a pimple, so I'm unclean another 7 days. You know what I mean? And then you come back in 2 weeks and you got 20 demons on you. We would rather you just be here and get your spirit right. Y'all see that? The Most High would rather that.
Just a question on that. Someone says, so you say come as you are.
Is that what I said?
No.
No. All right. So we keep the laws of the Most High. All right. We keep the laws of the Most High. If so far as the come as you are, whatever. The thing is, you're gonna have to come and get your spirit right. If you're keeping the laws to the T and everything like that, well, there's no excuse for you not to watch us on YouTube then. All right. If you look in the mirror and you got a zit on your face and you pronounce yourself unclean, and you decide you're not going to come to class for 2 weeks, well, that's on you. But there's no excuse for you not to be able to watch on YouTube. All right. All that was ceremonially unclean. So that doesn't mean the Most High is not going to be able to speak to you. All right. You just couldn't come around the congregation and things like that. Nowadays, what we're saying is, listen, get your spirit right. All right? You're going to have to do like the woman that had the issue of blood. You're going to have to grab hold of the hem of the garment regardless of what your condition is and get your spirit clean so that way, let's go to Romans 10. Just do it right. Should be 10 and 14.
Romans chapter 10 and verse 14.
Go ahead.
How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed?
Right.
And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard?
So how you gonna believe? How you gonna know to follow this law if you ain't even heard it because you ain't been in the congregation? Or how you gonna know the rest of the scripture that tells you when to go ahead and, just be a part of the congregation, be part of that holy convocation no matter what? How are you going to know those parts if you get stuck right there on that law? Oh, I'm not coming to class. Well, then how you going to hear the rest of the law? How you going to hear the understanding? If you decide, I'm going to separate myself, how you going to hear it? Y'all see that? And how you going to believe on what you haven't heard? Go ahead.
And how shall they hear without a preacher?
Right. Y'all see that? So how you gonna call on him that you haven't heard of? How you gonna follow the laws and statutes and commandments if before we finish the law, you decided you were unclean and you weren't gonna hear the rest of it? See, what you gotta know about the law is we're reading in Leviticus. By the time you get to like Deuteronomy, right? When Moses concluded reading all the law to the people, that's when they all had to say Amen. They all had to agree. You see that? So it wasn't like, oh, he said if you got pimples, you can't be here. I'll see you later. Nah, they waited until the entire reading of the law. And then they separated themselves based on their uncleanness. Y'all see that? Or if they had a baby or whatever. Okay, she had a baby. She got stitched up and everything. They called it the whole nation of Israel together, and she came anyway. Oh, I just found out I'm unclean. Okay, well, what's the rest of the law say? It wasn't just, oh, gotta go. Y'all see that? You had to stay there until the whole reading of the law was done. So you could hear and understand and know what to do. Y'all see that? Alright, so, you know, that's if we're going to keep the law, if we're going to be pinpoint accurate with keeping the law, then we got to know the whole law. We got to know exactly the surroundings of the law, what was given, what was told, and keep it that way. All right? Meaning, okay, I'm hearing the law, but I'm hearing all the law. I'm not just, okay, I'm cool with that. I'm unclean for 80 days. Cool. Vacation time. Y'all see that? Okay, well then, are you going to hear the rest of the law? Because you're going to get mad when it comes to the two wives thing that we ain't read about yet. You're going to get real upset when it comes down to you know, what you did after you were clean. Right? You're going to get real upset if you miss that part. Y'all see that? That, oh, you had to sacrifice these doves and things like that. Y'all see that? Oh, I got a pimple. Oh, I'm unclean. I'm not coming to class. Okay, well, when you come back, make sure you got your sacrifice to atone for that. See, we ain't asking for that either. So, you know, don't act like we're just throwing out the law and saying, come as you are, stay as you are, right? No, you're going to come as you are, but then get cleansed. You see that? And get your mind fixed and know the law. You see that?
We have a question. Will the Most High be angry if we do not always pray to the east?
No. As simple as that. If the scriptures say, when you read about David, he said, I meditate on the word of the Most High all day and all night. Right? This book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth. Right? So when you're praying, however you're praying, you read a lot of prayers where it never says that this person just stood up and faced the east. When you read about Mary, she finding out about John the Baptist and her finding out she was pregnant and all that, and she did her prayer of thanksgiving and her song. It didn't say she stood and faced the east and did all this. All right, we do it as remembrance of what Solomon had said. All right, because we know the Most High will honor that prayer that He gave to Solomon. All right, that He'll hear us from wherever He is, from wherever we are, if we're facing that holy city, if we're facing that temple. Y'all see that? So we need that help so much more that we make sure we emphasize facing that east. But when you're just daily prayer, you know what I mean, like your boss doesn't cuss you out. Oh Lord Jesus, please help me not to choke this man to death. Or are we telling you stand up in your cubicle and face the east and put your head covering on and nah. All right. When you're praying, you're supposed to be in constant prayer. The scriptures say pray without ceasing. So I just gotta walk facing the east all the time like a crab. You know what I mean? Nah, I gotta. I'm gonna be facing different directions, but I'm gonna pray without ceasing. All right. What? Walk sideways like that?
I mean, like they don't turn; they just face the east.
No, I'm not saying they face the east. I'm saying they the way they walk sideways. Yeah.
No, I'm thinking they never turn.
Nah, because then they might be clean animals for us to eat. They just pray all day. But Again, we're not laughing at you. You know what I mean? We just having fun, all right? So is that it? Was that it on the question?
Yeah.
Right. So, somebody want to get him that. I think it's in 1 Thessalonians talking about pray without ceasing. And we'll get back to this reading.
Leviticus chapter 13, verse 8, last precept. It is a leprosy, a leprous. Verse 9. When the plague of leprosy is in a man, then he shall be brought unto the priest, and the priest shall see him, and behold, if the rising be white in the skin, and it have turned the hair white, and there be quick raw flesh in the rising, it is an old leprosy in the skin of his flesh. And the priest shall pronounce him unclean, and shall not shut him up, for he is unclean.
Right, so in this case, he didn't get quarantined, he didn't get shut up. If they saw his hair had turned yellow, right? If he had that rising in the flesh and the hair had turned yellow. You see that? It means that whatever is going on with his flesh, it's dying. All right, because not even the hairs are growing out black. You see that? So he not only has that abscess going, but it's killing his flesh. It's dying. That flesh is turned raw. That means that stuff's gonna start falling apart, start falling off. You see that? So you don't want that around the congregation. You don't know if somebody can catch that. So you don't just put him away for the 7 days and all that. You like no, bro. You're gonna have to stay outside the city. Y'all see that? You're gonna have to be in the city of the lepers, but you're gonna have to walk around with them. That's why at Christ's day, he had came to like 10 lepers, right? And they was all unclean, right? And then they found him and they said, "Son of David, help heal us." He said, "Your faith has made you whole." And they became healed that same hour. And they all left but one. And he came back and said, "Well, what do I do? I want to follow you." He said, "Look, go and give your sacrifice to the priest." Y'all see that? So he was keeping the law every step of the way. Listen, go do what Moses said. Go give your sacrifice to the priest, because now you're clean. Y'all see that? Right. Where we at?
Verse 12.
What's that?
1 Thessalonians 5 and 17, pray without ceasing.
Right. 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 17 is where we were talking about pray without ceasing. So if it says pray without ceasing, then that means you're not gonna always be facing the east. All right, you're supposed to be constantly in prayer and communication with the Most High. Those are like the official prayers we're setting up. We're doing that fervent prayer, and it's more formal. All right, it's like you might be talking to your boy normally, but you might dap him up and everything like that, give him the hug and all that. But if y'all met at the White House and y'all in your 3-piece suits for a dinner or something, y'all might see each other and be like, "Hey, how's it going?" Shake hands, you know what I mean, and then go in. Whereas on the street, you might just dap him up, hug him, and shoot the crap. Y'all see that? All right. Where we at?
This is Leviticus chapter 13 and verse 12. And if a leprosy.
Leprosy.
Where we at? Verse what?
Verse 12. Leprosy.
Oh, shoot.
And if a leprosy break out abroad in the skin, and the leprosy cover all the skin of him that hath the plague, from his head even to his foot, wheresoever the priest looketh, then the priest shall consider. And behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean that hath the plague. It is all turned white, he is clean. But when a raw flesh appeareth in him, he shall be unclean. And the priest shall see the raw flesh and pronounce him to be unclean. And the raw flesh is unclean, it is leprosy. Or if the raw flesh turn again and be changed unto white, he shall come unto the priest, and the priest shall see him, and behold, if the plague be turned into white, then the priest shall pronounce him clean that hath the plague. He is clean.
All right, so we got a question on there. Said about is it okay to warm up food on the Sabbath? So we gotta kind of. I didn't hit the scripture on it when they asked last night, but since it's a recurring theme now, go to Leviticus chapter 23. We're gonna start at verse 1. And the question is it okay to warm up my food or turn on the toaster on the Sabbath? All right.
Leviticus chapter, you said 23?
Mm-hmm.
23 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feasts of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts.
So I want you to look at the word convocations, all right? And he said, even these are my feasts. All right, we got to notice that Mashaba from San Antonio is the one that brought this out to us a while ago. But like I said, it's a recurring theme now that people are asking about warming up food on the Sabbath. You got cats that are trying to be super sticklers for the law, saying, "Oh yeah, you ain't supposed to kindle a fire. You ain't supposed to do this." Yeah, the law says you're not supposed to kindle a fire. Yes, but it also says we had feasts. All right. That the Sabbath, as we're going to read verse 3, the Sabbath is declared as one of those feast days. So you don't have a feast just sitting around eating Cheerios. You understand? You don't have a feast sitting around just eating finger sandwiches. You have a feast with cooked food. Y'all see that?
God.
Well, how you warm up the food if you can't kindle a fire, if you can't do these certain things? See, the whole point was when they stoned the man for going and gathering wood on the Sabbath was because guess what? He was missing out on the convocation part. He was missing out on the brotherhood and the unity, and he was gathering bundles of sticks for his house. You understand? Not for the convocation, not for the preparation of the feast. Y'all see that? All right, so read on.
Verse 3.
Verse 3, right? Go ahead.
6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest.
Uh-huh.
A holy convocation.
A holy convocation. What's that word, convocation?
Convocation. The act of calling or assembling by summons.
Right? So we were gathered together. We were summoned to gather together. Y'all see that? So a lot of these super Hebrews, they still at home right now, watching on YouTube in the dark. You know what I mean? Or they ain't watching at all. Well, where you at? We supposed to have a holy convocation. Y'all see that? It wasn't a day just for you to sit down on your Barca lounger and chill out. Go ahead.
Ye shall do no work therein.
Right, see? It was for you to not work. Go ahead.
It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings.
Right. Y'all see that? So wherever you dwell, in all your dwellings, whether you're in captivity or not, you was to keep the Sabbath. And you were supposed to keep a feast. All right, so back in the day, we were required to have a feast every Sabbath. Y'all see that?
We got our practice.
So when we gonna practice, man? When you gonna bring your food? when you gonna start bringing the food to class instead of tripping on this? Hey, can I burn a toaster? Can I do this? Can I do that? You're supposed to have a convocation. Every Sabbath we got together. We know the spirit of the law and everything like that. That we got together. This feast we're having is what we're doing right now. We're partaking in this fruit. You see that? But we all got together back in the day. The law was read, and we had that feast. Y'all see that? I mean, don't the churches try to carry that out on their Sabbath?
Yes.
Right? After pastor preaches big sermon and everything.
Yep.
Okay, after we're going to have a big church picnic.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
What is that? That's what we did. Y'all see that? We just did it the right way back then. Yes, sir?
No, I was just talking about how the convocations were on the Sabbath.
Yeah.
But then,
Right.
every man must eat.
Right. Who else had they have it?
Oh, I popped it up real fast. You just made me think because I remember, when my friends, when I was younger, going to church on Sundays, right? It's like it was like after church, you always went out to go eat. It was always going to some restaurant and eating after church.
Right.
It's like the Holy Convocation.
Yeah, that's been printed in our spirit, man. We did it so much, we did it so regularly that became in our spirit that, you know what? After we all meet together and get this word, we need to go out and eat, man. Y'all see that? Okay, so where you get these super brews talking about you can't turn your microwave on your toaster, you know what I mean? Shouldn't be eating with no microwave anyway, man, because it nukes your food and kills all the nutrients. But that's up to you. It ain't a law. Alright? But you know, if you're using a toaster or whatever like that, that's what you're gonna do. Alright? You know, like I said, these legalistic cats, you should have prepared your food the day before. There's no excuse. Okay, well then there's no excuse for that pimple you got. Bring your dove. You see that? There's no excuse for any of the things we do if you're gonna make it like that. Now we gotta start judging biblical characters. There's no excuse for David eating the showbread. There's no excuse for the priest letting him eat the showbread. Stone them both. You know what I mean? Build your time machine, go back, kill them both. You know what I mean? I mean, we don't need Christ to be born from the seed of David. We gotta stone him for this showbread thing. You know what I mean? Who needs Solomon? I mean, shoot, let's kill the whole lineage off because David ate some showbread. Oh, you don't want to do that, no. You don't want to do that now, right? Huh? Right. Where we at?
This is Leviticus chapter 12 in verse 13.
Oh, no, chapter 13.
That's like, yeah. Leviticus chapter 13 and verse 17.
Huh?
In verse 18. The flesh also in which, even in the skin thereof, was a boil, and it healed. Verse 19. And in the place of the boil, there be a white rising, or a bright spot, white, somewhat reddish, and it be showed to the priest. And if, when the priest seeth it, behold, it be in sight lower than the skin, and the hair thereof be turned white, the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague of leprosy broken out of the boil. But if the priest look on it, and behold, there be no white hairs therein, if it be not lower than the skin, but be somewhat dark, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days. And if it spread much abroad in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague.
Right. So you had the examination, right? You went to the priest. He examined you. So the priests were actually doctors in a sort of way, right? And they would examine you. Okay, you know what? He's unclean. Y'all see that? And then you go back. You know, you give it your 7 days. You come back. Okay, you know what? It's spreading. So you unclean. You got leprosy. I'm sorry to tell you. Y'all see that? You gotta go outside the camp. You can't be around the brothers and sisters. All right. So these were the different conditions of what back then was called leprosy, right? But today, what Esau minimalizes a lot of these leprous conditions, right? When you look up leprosy now, it's just bumps all over your body, right? And it looks so severe. It's like, who would want to be around that anyway? That makes sense, right? But what Esau doesn't tell you is that having a pimple made you unclean, that you were separated for that. You understand? Having an abscess or a boil or things like that, you were separated from the congregation. You had leprosy. You were unclean. Y'all see that? So we got to understand these things that, you know, Esau has minimalized a lot of this, and that's why they got so much disease in their community. Because they look at these things of the Bible and they say, oh yeah, you know what, that's not so bad. You know what I mean? Oh, if I get a rising yellow hair or something, I'll just dye my whole hair blonde. That'll fix it. Right. No, that doesn't do it, man. You're leprous. Stay away from people. Y'all see that? Because this thing's got infections. They have blood and pus and things like that are getting infected. That, you know, dirt and oil and things like that is all compounding in this boil. You know what I mean? And until that's drained out. Until all that is cleansed out, they shouldn't be around other people. You see that? Alright.
Excuse me, I thought they just shut down. I thought I shut it down.
Go ahead.
Verse 21.
Go ahead.
But if the priest look on it, and behold, there be no white hairs therein, and if it be lower than the skin, but be somewhat dark, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days. And if it spread much abroad in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague. But if the bright spot stay in his place and spread not, it is a burning boil, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. Verse 24. Or if there be any flesh in the skin whereof there is a hot burning, and the quick flesh that burneth have a white bright spot, somewhat reddish or white, then the priest shall look upon it, and behold, if the hair in the bright spot be turned white, it be in sight deeper than the skin, it is a leprous broken out of the burning. Wherefore the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is the plague of leprosy.
Right, so y'all see that, right? So these were different laws dealing with the uncleanness concerning bloodborne diseases, what they call pathogens now. You watch all these outbreak movies and stuff like that, and they don't want to tell you that, all this started from blood touching blood. Y'all see that? All this started from you being around a place where there was blood and feces, or blood and urine, or blood and this mixed together. You know what I mean? You get sepsis. Sepsis is when some part of your bowels is like leaking into your bloodstream, and now your blood is poisoned by your feces.
Right.
You see that? Okay, well, why would I want to be around other people when I have this disease of doo-doo blood? You know what I mean? Like, okay, why would you have that person around other people? You see that? Okay, so now, what do they do? Oh, okay, well, we gave you a shot. You can go ahead and rejoin the population. Okay, well, the shot ain't even kicked in yet. You done sent them around 20, 30 other people. Now they all got it. You know, see that? Every time you watch Outbreak, or what was that? They did Outbreak, that movie with, that was, what's his name? Dustin Hoffman, right? Outbreak. They did Contagious. They do all these different movies. Blindness. 12 Monkeys, right? They do all these movies, and they trace where they came from, and it's some pig or something that was the Most High had pronounced unclean thousands of years ago, but Esau said, it's okay. You know what I mean? You just got a pimple, man. You be all right. Oh, yeah, it's just an abscess. Oh, because you put a medical term on it that now I can go ahead and be around other people with this. Y'all see that? No, you're supposed to be separated from people, not just for their sake, but also for your sake. I don't know if you ever had an abscess before, all right? But sometimes if things get big, you know what I mean, and you have one of your tooth, okay? Well, sometimes they get huge, and when the doctor gotta put all that, they pop it for one, they lance it, all right? They put like a needle in there and they jam it all up in there and let all that kind of push out. But then your body starts trying to, heal the infection and things, and so a bunch of pus and stuff start forming and everything in there, and you're bleeding and all that. So they put packing material up in there. They take like a windy, like noodle-looking, piece of gauze or whatever, and they pack it all up in there, and that helps it drain out. Similar to when you twist up the toilet paper and you shove it up your nose when you got a sinus infection, and it drains that out. That's what they do in your abscess. You understand? Now, all that time you leaking pus and fluids and everything all over the place, that's not clean. That's not go back to work. That's not go hang around people. You understand? Well, you get up and you done left a little yellow puddle with a little blood in it somewhere, and somebody else supposed to sit in that? That's not sanitary, man. So you stayed away from people, but you saw it's just an abscess. We'll lance it, we'll pack it, you put some ice on it, we'll stitch it up, and you go back to work. Yeah, it's like, what do you mean it's not a big deal? That's why half y'all niggas got AIDS and everything else. Y'all see that? Right. So back then, these were the things that kept us clean. All right. Since we abandoned those things, now we live in a society of filth now. Y'all see that? Now we live in a society where the whole earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. So you can't get away. You can't really even get back to these right here. You can do it for your own personal self, but you can't really avoid the things that the Most High was trying to prevent back then. You understand? So, anymore people be like, oh, I got to follow these laws now. Nah, man. Anymore, you do it if you can have the liberty to do it, but really the whole earth is defiled now. You see that? We're not being sticklers for these things. We're not being as stringent. Why? Because the Most High is not being as stringent on these things. All right? How do we know? Because when he let the woman touch Christ. You know what I mean? It didn't say she reached out her hand and the earth opened up and swallowed her. Right? How dare you touch my son? He's clean. You understand? Nah. She got to touch his garment and get healed. All right? So we got to come to that skirt of the garment. We got to come to that, the law, and get healed. And then we can start reversing the curse in the earth. You understand? All right. Next reader, right? All right. So have you read? Or Ray? Okay. So we'll have Ray come up and read.
Ray Shabbat Shah, Bun, slap. Ray Shabbat Shah, Yahawada, Bun, Yashala.
Ray Shabbat Shah, Yahawada, Bun Yashala. I imagine. Barak.
Yahweh Shimi Ashabrak Thumb.
Yahweh Shimi Ashabrak Thumb.
Alright, so we're at Leviticus chapter 13. We're going to start at verse 26, and you're going to read through verse 58.
Come, Leviticus chapter 13, verse 26. But come, but if the priest look on it, and behold, there be no white hair in the bright spot, and it be no lower than the other skin, but be somewhat dark, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days. And the priest shall look upon him the seventh day, and if it be spread much abroad in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is the plague of leprosy. Verse 28. And if the bright spot stay in his place and spread not in the skin, but be somewhat dark, it is raising of the burning. And the priest shall pronounce him clean, for it is an inflammation of the burning. Verse 29.
All right. So what we gotta see is, a lot of these, it turned out to be, it's just a pimple. You see that? It's just a zit. It's okay. It's not going to spread. It's not contagious. All right? Then some things turned out to be, okay, you got leprosy, man. Your skin going to be falling apart pretty soon. All right? You're going to have fingers and toes falling off and stuff like that. Like I said, Esau has kind of like minimalized a lot of these diseases and called them something else, so now you don't recognize them as what the Most High called them. All right? And, what we have to really realize is the spirit of the law. What was he trying to instill in us? Who knows? Cleanliness. Okay. All right. Cleanliness of what? What's that?
I was going to say he's trying to instill in us a consciousness of him and the reason why
There you go. See that? And that was the thing is, why am I looking at, I'm looking at anything so much as a pimple and remembering the Most High on that. I'm remembering, okay, he said not to mess with that. All right? So anything that happens to me, I'm checking myself according to the law. So it's constantly keeping my mind on cleanliness. That means if I'm doing this for my body, if I'm constantly checking my flesh to make sure I'm clean, what am I doing with my thoughts? You see that? So when Paul said the law is spiritual, this is what he's talking about, man. That the law is spiritual. It's meant to check your spirit. It's meant to reprove your thoughts. See that? But we didn't get that. We was just sitting there like, oh, got a pimple. Sorry, can't come to the convocation. I gotta stay home and chill with my oxen and my lambs and my you know what I mean, my food and everything like that. I can't be around. We took advantage of the law. You see that? And in doing that, we were breaking the law, but we weren't seeing it like that. You understand? So why did Christ have to come? He had to come to be the fulfillment of the law, and then at the same time expose the spirit of the law to us. Y'all see that? Listen, you're supposed to be meditating on the Most High all day and all night. That was the point of the law. The point of the law was when you wake up in the morning and look in your looking glass, you look in your mirror, and you start checking yourself, you making sure, dang, I'm going to make sure I'm clean for being around the congregation. So I'm going to obey Leviticus chapter 12 and Leviticus chapter 13. My woman has a baby, I'm remembering the law. If a cow has a baby, I'm remembering the law, right? I'm thinking about the Most High and His will all day in every situation that can happen. Do y'all notice this? That it was everything of the day that could possibly happen. Oh, you had sex? Okay, you're going to remember the law. You got a pimple? You're going to remember the law. You got a white hair? You're going to remember the law. If your hair fell out, you're going to remember the law. If you went out to your field to go to work, and your cow had a baby, you're going to remember the law. You see that? Oh, yeah. When you had sex and you were unclean with your woman, 10 months later, you had a baby. Okay, I'm remembering the law. I'm not just caught up in all the joy of the moment. I'm caught up in the thinking of the Most High and how to honor Him for what just happened. Y'all see that? The law was spiritual. You were supposed to be constantly, consistently thinking on the Most High's will. But all we did was seeing it as a list of do's and don'ts. Y'all see that? That's why for those that are spiritual and they understand why the law was there and what it was supposed to do and keep us in mind of the ways of the Most High, there is no law. All right? There is no, you got to be told to do this. No, I'm always thinking of the Most High and what He would want. Would He want me to be around people with a bloody, pussy sword and just smearing it all over seats and everything? Let me keep myself away from everybody today. Let me go get checked out before I come back. You know what I mean? Does He want? He wants me to circumcise my flesh. Okay, I go do that. Right? He wants me to wear fringes. Okay, I'm doing that. So when I put my clothes on in the morning, I'm thinking of the Most High. Right? When I get in the mirror, I'm thinking of the Most High. If I'm brushing my teeth, oh, what's that? That hurts. Oh, I got an abscess in my tooth. Okay, I'm thinking of the Most High. In your pain, in your suffering, in your good times or bad times, you were always thinking of the Most High. Y'all see that? So you would never forget. No matter people get a baby or whatever, then it's like, oh, I'm gonna hide behind my kids. I can't come to class because my kids. You had a baby, you thanked the Most High. You brought a sacrifice. You made a day out of it. You see that? You went down to the priest and you got them consecrated and everything like that on the 8th day, right? And they got circumcised and then you sacrificed and you made a day out of it. Y'all see that? Every event was covered to keep us in mind of the Most High. Anything that could possibly happen during the day, right? Your crops are growing. Ooh, I just saw the first head of the crop growing up. It must be the start of the new year. Time to go celebrate. You know what I mean? That starts the countdown. 14 days from now is the Passover. Feast of unleavened bread. Y'all see that? He was constantly thinking of the Most High. He gave us so many excuses to think of Him. New moon. I can't see the moon tonight. Must be time to have a feast. Let's call the buddies over, call the brothers and sisters over, right? Kill the fatted calf, let's feast, right? Blow the trumpet, let's remember the Most High. Every excuse he gave us to be able to think of him. And what do? We still forgot it. We got so caught up in the letter of the law, we forgot what the spirit was. Think of the Most High in all things. Y'all see that? Like Paul said, remember me in all things and keep the ordinances as I delivered them to you. That was the spirit of the law. To remember the Most High and keep his ordinances. In the ordinances will help you remember him. Y'all see that? That's why David said he meditated on the ways of the on the word of the Lord all day and all night. Why? Because it was made for that. You see that? David had 21 wives or 19 wives or something like that. Every time you sleep with one, let me make sure I'm clean. I'm unclean until evening. You know what I mean? I killed somebody. I got blood on me. I had to drag a carcass somewhere again. I'm unclean till evening. I'm thinking on the Most High. Y'all see that? I'm hungry. I gotta go eat showbread. I gotta think of the Most High first. Y'all see this? All day and all night, you thinking of how to please the Most High. It wasn't just about the letter. It was to instill in your spirit thinking on the Most High and what pleases him. So for a righteous man, there is no law. Because he's already constantly minded toward pleasing the Most High. Y'all see that? For Abraham, there was no thou shalt pay a tithe. When Melchizedek came and he saw that he was a priest of the Most High, he said, here, take 10% of what I take my tithe. But the priesthood ain't going to be for a little while, man. The Levitical priesthood ain't for a while. Why are you paying tithe now? Oh, because I'm righteous. You don't have to tell me to sacrifice some of what I got to give to the Most High. You see that? That's what was in a righteous man. It was already there before the law had to be set down in stone. Y'all see it? All day and all night, righteous men thought on what was right to the Most High. So when we got out of the mind state in Egypt, we got out of the mind state of what pleases the Most High. The law came down to show us what pleases him. Is you thinking about me in everything you do. See that? Your first white hair shows up. I gotta go check with the priest, make sure I'm not leprous. What happened when you went to the priest? You got to smell the incense. You got to see all the things, all the glory of the temple. You got to remember and be reminded of the Most High in His glory, because all the things that were made in the temple were made in the image of the things in heaven. It gave you a physical goal to look at right there. You see that? Oh yeah, that's what I'm trying to get to, that pattern that's in heaven. So I'm going to keep doing what pleases the Most High to get me there. Y'all see that? So we got to know this, because we sit there looking like, as worldly people, they sit around looking at like, wow, really, your God is really worried about pimples? No, he was trying to get you to remember him when you got a pimple. He was trying to get you to remember him when you breathed, when you slept, when you ate, when you drank, when you had sex, when you had kids, when you had anything going on. Keep your mind on him. You see that? He said he's a jealous God. He didn't want your mind on nothing else. Yeah, see that? He wanted your mind on him. That's why he called us adulterers and adulteresses in James chapter 4, verse 4. Why? Because we were thinking about everything but the Most High. Y'all see that? Where we at?
Leviticus chapter 13, verse 29. If a man or woman have a plague upon the head of the beard or the beard, verse 30, then the priest shall see the plague, and behold, if it be in the sight deeper than the skin, and there be in it a yellow thin hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a dry scale, even a leprosy, upon the head or beard.
See, a lot of these little illnesses, like, they call it some things scabies, they call it eczema, they call it these and that. A lot of these were leprosy, and it was to be, put away from the congregation until that thing got healed. You see that? Nowadays, obviously, we don't, like I said, we don't just sit there doing, hey, you're leprous, you can't come in, right? Well, again, the point of it being is we want people to be able to know and hear the law first. All right? But this is how we kept ourselves clean. We kept ourselves from getting communicable diseases, from defiling the temple, and all these things. All right.
Leviticus chapter 13, verse 31. And if the priest look on the plague of the scale, and behold, it be not in sight deeper than the skin, and that there is no black hair in it, then the priest shall shut up him that hath the plague of the scale 7 days. And in the 7th day, the priest shall look on the plague, and behold, if the scale spread not, and there be in it no yellow hair, and the scale be not in sight deeper than the skin, he shall be shaven, but the scale shall he not shave. And the priest shall shut up him that hath the scale 7 days more. And in the 7th day the priest shall look on the scale, and behold, if the scale be not spread in the skin, nor be in the sight deeper than the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him clean, and he shall wash his clothes and be clean.
Right. So if you notice, a lot of this was like, okay, if there be a whiteness in the skin, if there be a paleness, whatever, then he's unclean. Okay, well that means we was dark skinned. You wouldn't see this too evidently on a white man. You see that? Because their whole body looks like that. All right, so these are things where, okay, if there's a whiteness in the skin, he's unclean. But then he gives you the prescription for clean and unclean lepers even. Y'all see that? So when we read about Esau, we find out, he was cursed with that leprosy as a sign because he's counted as a clean leper. Y'all see that? That is basically he's able to if he was an Israelite, we'll say, he would be able to still be able to come around the congregation. He wasn't contagious. All right, but at the same time, he still had leprosy, just a clean version. Y'all see that? But that's why I said they minimalize a lot of these things. That, you just got vitiligo, you'll be okay. Until you drop dead, right? Or until your flesh start peeling off, till your whole body start turning white, and you look like you're a dead corpse walking around. You understand? Yeah, that's not clean. Where you at?
Leviticus chapter 13, verse 35. But if the scale spread much in the skin after his cleansing, then the priest shall look on him. And behold, if the scale be spread in the skin, the priest shall not seek for yellow hair. He is unclean. But if the scale be in his sight at a stay, and that there is a black hair grown up therein, the scale is healed. He is clean, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. If a man also or a woman have in the skin or their flesh bright spots, even white bright spots, then the priest shall look, and behold, if the bright spots in the skin of their flesh be darkish white, it is a freckled spot that groweth in the skin. He is clean. And the man whose hair is fallen off his head, he is bald, yet is he clean. And if he that hath his hair fallen off from the part of his head toward his face, he is foreheaded bald, yet he is clean.
Right, so cats that they losing their hair or something like that, they call it forehead bald. He's clean. He's not a leper. You see that? But they have the option of either having that whole thing grow out, or they can shave their head. Y'all see that? Go ahead.
Verse 42. And if there be in the bald head or bald forehead a white reddish sore, it is a leprosy sprung up in his bald head or his bald forehead. Then the priest shall look upon it, and behold, if the rising of the sore be white reddish in his bald head or in his bald head forehead, as the leprosy appeareth in the skin or of the flesh, he is a leprous man. He is unclean. the priest shall pronounce him utterly unclean. His plague is in his head, and the leper in whom the plague is. His clothes shall be rent, and his head bare, and he shall put a covering upon his upper lip, and shall cry, unclean, unclean. Verse 46. All the
So he
days
put a covering on his upper lip, meaning he's got some kind of disease that if he was breathing on you, you would catch that. You understand?
Okay.
So a lot of these things that we look at, okay, you got tuberculosis. Well, what do I do? I go to the doctor. He gives me a shot. If it turns a certain color, then I know that I have tuberculosis. Well, the priest knew that off of your hair. They knew that off of looking at a bump on your head or in your skin or whatever.
Right.
Y'all see that? And they can tell you, okay, you're unclean. Huh? And you know what? You got to put a covering over your upper lip so you don't breathe that tuberculosis all over everybody, man. Y'all see that? And you definitely can't come in the congregation because we're gonna be all in an enclosed space, and that disease is gonna go all in the air, and you're gonna give that to everybody in the congregation. Y'all see that? So that's what that's showing you right there. Is we have ways of treating and preventing. These are all methods of prevention that the Most High has set down for us. All right? Go ahead.
Gone. Leviticus chapter 13, verse 46. All the days were when the plague shall be in him, he shall be defiled. He is unclean. He shall dwell alone. Without the camp shall his inhabitation be.
See, you gotta live outside the camp. Go ahead.
Come, verse 47. The garment also that the plague of leprosy is in, whether it be a woolen garment or a linen garment, whether it be in the wrap or woof or linen or of woolen, whether in a skin or in anything made of skin, and if the plague be greenish or reddish in the garment or in the skin, either in the wrap or in the woof or in anything of skin, it is a plague of leprosy, and shall be showed unto the priest.
Right, so what do we got? Okay, now you got mold, now you got mildew, now you got all these things, right? When they come to your house and they're like, oh yeah, we'll just spray it. Yeah, next thing you know, you're in the hospital and they talking about, oh yeah, you got some kind of lung disease or something like that. It comes from spores being in the air from mold. And you're like, oh, so I'm dying now. Well, yeah, you're dying. That's how that's gonna go. Well, what can I do to prevent it? You can't. You're dying. You know, if you would have got rid of the mold, you'd be okay. That's what the Most High was showing us. He said, listen, if you even found it in your clothes, I don't know if you ever did that. You leave your clothes in the washer too long, and then you smell that smell, but you throw them in the dryer anyway, right? You're like, okay, it's cool. But then even still, you pull them out, now they stink like somebody doodled in them. You know what I mean? When that mildew dries, you can still smell it. It never comes out. He didn't want that around people because that's a sporous mildew. It's a sporous mold that gets in the air. It when it reproduces, it shoots off little spores, and they're little microscopic things that be up in the air. And you breathing, you can catch that. And you start the perfect place for those spores to be is in a dark, damp place. And if you go into the inside of your lung cavity, that's all it is a dark and damp place. You see that? It's got mucous membrane all around it and everything. That's perfect. The thing gets stuck in that mucus, and it sit there reproducing and spreading, and now your walls of your lungs got mucus or got fungus in them, just like your walls in your house. Y'all see that? Well, somebody told me that they did that when they came to my house. The ceiling was leaking in the garage. It still is leaking in the garage, and then the water was dripping down and it hit the wall. And there's a line on the wall where it's just starting to mold now. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna cut that out. I'm gonna cut that piece out, cut that drywall out now to tack another drywall on there now. And the guy comes over to look at the leak and everything. And he's like, oh yeah, we got something we can treat the mildew. I'm like, yeah, that's how y'all deal with shit. Excuse me. That's how y'all deal with stuff. You know what I mean? That's how y'all deal with situations that could kill us. Is y'all sit around and say, "Oh, we just spray it with something." No, we get rid of that.
That's right.
It's easy. All you do is you cut that section of drywall out and you put another one in. Y'all see that? Well, Esau's problem is the lazy way. Okay, well, we'll just spray it. Nah, you ain't giving me and my house fungus, man. We ain't gonna end up in the dang hospital with you know what I mean? We done got mold all in our brain and lungs and everything like that. Yeah. Yeah, that's why they was getting asbestos poisoning and all these different things, because that's how they treat things. They don't treat them as serious. The Most High showed us that the things that are going on, they're serious. That's why Solomon even came back in that, was it Wisdom of Solomon, or even in Ecclesiastes, he said, take no matter for ignorant, great or small. He was showing us to pay attention to detail, man. The law is spiritual. You was to pay attention to detail. Pay attention to these little things in your house, in your clothing, in your body. And then what will you do? You'll be trained already to process what goes in your mind. So when you hear some song, right, instead of it coming in and you're like, yeah, I got to start shooting people and having sex with other people's wives. No, I'm going to process that and I'm going to say, you know what? That's not lawful. That ain't what the Most High would want me to do. That's a nice beat, though. You see that? You become a rational thinking human being instead of being a damn robot and sitting there trying to like X out everything that, you know, the letter says this, I'm not doing that. Okay, the letter says that, I'm not doing that. No, you're checking even your thoughts, man. Y'all see that? You're checking your thoughts so that, oh yeah, smoke weed. Nah, man, come on, I don't even let mold in my house, bro. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be in no smoking house. Why would I be smoking weed? You see, you were supposed to think on these things and expand them. That little leaven was supposed to leaven the whole lump. It was supposed to expand in you. Y'all see that? But what do we do? Oh, it's not there. I can smoke. Oh, it's not there. I can do this. Okay, well, you killing yourself. Y'all see that? You ain't doing nothing against the Most High. You killing yourself. You already, by the fact of you saying, I'm gonna look in here and see what loophole I can make, you had already severed your relationship with the Most High. Y'all see that? So you going in and trying to nitpick and all that don't matter no more. You're good. You already severed that. Now everything you do is just gonna cause death. Y'all see that? You already partook in that forbidden fruit. You doubt it. Y'all see that? You already partook in that, so right now, you've already severed everything you're going to have with the Most High by doubt. Now, when you're going in here, you're looking for loopholes. Okay, well, you might as well break them all. That's why I said, whoever breaks one is guilty of all, right? Why? Because the doubt was already here. You already killed your relationship with the Most High here. What's the point of even holding the law now? Y'all see that? You got to fix your relationship with the Most High here. What happened with Adam and Eve? Like we went over that cable show, right? Doubt was the forbidden fruit. We thought it was some mystical thing, right? She bit an apple, and all of a sudden she had the knowledge of good and evil, and they got kicked out. Why would he kick her out for knowing the knowledge of good and evil? No, he kicked her out for severing the relationship. Doubt. Y'all see that? Well, y'all gotta watch that cable show once we get it edited, man. It's a good one, but that doubt was a forbidden fruit. Y'all understand? Alright, where we at?
Leviticus chapter 13, verse 51. Verse 50. And the priest shall look upon the plague and shut up it that hath the plague 7 days. And he shall look on the plague on the 7th day. If the plague be spread in the garment, either in the wrap, or in the woof, or in the skin, or in any work that is made of skin, the plague is a fretting leprosy. It is unclean. He shall therefore burn that garment, whether warp or wool, in woolen or in linen, or anything of skin, wherein the plague is, for it is a fretting leprosy. It shall be burnt in the fire. And if the priest shall look, and behold, the plague be not spread in the garment, either in the wrap, or in the woof, or in anything of skin, Then the priest shall command that they wash the thing wherein the plague is, and he shall shut it up 7 days more. And the priest shall look on the plague after that it is washed. And behold, if the plague have not changed his color, and the plague be not spread, it is unclean. Thou shalt burn it in the fire. It is fret inward, whether it be bare within or without. And if the priest look and behold the plague be somewhat dark.
So basically, if this discoloration or whatever of whatever fabric or wool or any skin that you had used, if any of that had a discoloration on it, you know, you would get that checked out. You'd be like, what is this spot? Hold on. Okay, I'm trying to wash it out with water. It ain't coming out. Okay, well, I got to take it to the priest now. They got to check this out. Y'all see that? Okay, they look at it. Yeah, that look like you might have a little mold right there. You know what? Take that out of your house and shut it up for 7 days, and we're going to see what happens. All right? Bring it out 7 days. Okay, it didn't spread or nothing like that. But every time you wash it, it ain't coming out. It's still unclean. Get rid of that. Y'all see that? We don't know what it is. We don't know what that is. Go ahead and get rid of that. But even if it is spread, that's even worse. Okay, that's definitely mold. That's definitely mildew. You got to get rid of that and check the rest of you. We got to check the house out now. Y'all see that? Everything you did. You want to sit back and kick your feet up on the couch and you lean back and you're like, oh, man, what is this? Well, the Most High said if I see a spot on my furniture, man, then I gotta get this checked out, man. You was remembering everything, no matter when. You was literally meditating on the ways of the Most High all day and all night. That's how the law was spiritual. Y'all see that? It had you thinking every second of the day. What is it? Hey, what is that? What's going on up here? What? You understand? Is the Most High going to be pleased with how I look, how I'm dressed, how, you know what I mean? How I'm doing? When I relax, am I relaxing in a nice environment that the Most High would like me in? You see that? I'm checking out a woman. Oh, is she married? Hold on. Will the Most High be pleased with me looking at her? Make sure she ain't married. Y'all see that? You weren't just thinking about the fornication of it, the what's sexy about her. You was thinking about what the Most High thought of her. Y'all see that? So even when judging your woman, judging your surrounding, a woman judging her man, you was looking at everything spiritually and try to see, is that going to please the Most High? So there was not a second of your day, if you knew the law, if you really knew the law, there was not a second of your day that was not dedicated to think about the Most High. Man. Not cooking, not cleaning, not anything that wasn't dedicated to, hey, you know, you vacuuming the floor. Oh, what is this? You see that? Your work time, your leisure time, everything was dedicated to the ways of the Most High. So it should be even more now, right? While we're learning the law now, and since everything in this world is defiled, right? It should be really easy to think of the Most High. Yeah, the Most High wouldn't like that. Look at her. He wouldn't like her. Hey, look at that. Look what's going on in the air. The Most High wouldn't like that. Look what's going on in my house. Oh, smell my clothes. That, you know what I mean? I'm going to the gym. Oh, look at that. Ugh. You understand? It should be that much more easy to see what's pleasing and not pleasing to the Most High. So, you know, you can take it as a negative. Oh, the earth's defiled. We're just screwed. Or you can take it as an opportunity, a positive, and say, you know what? This gives me every opportunity to see the ways of the Most High, man. You see that? To understand what He wanted for the earth. So now when I go in my house, I'm more judgmental. I'm more, you know, I'm literally more judgmental. It's like, okay, well, what is this? Oh, no. This gotta go. You see that? What is my kid watching? No. Hey, let me tell you about that. You understand? Hey, what is going in my mind? What kind of thoughts am I having? Hey, no. We gotta fix that. You see that? That's what the law was meant to do. It was meant to purify you spiritually. But if we're just sitting there trying to judge, what's that on your show? Oh my God, is that the sign of the Illuminati right there? Like, nigga, is that a pimple? Because we're having the same problem right now. Are those Nike shoes? Because the Most High said, don't let the name of any strange God come out of your mouth. Nike is the Greek goddess of war and stuff like that, or victory, right? So you letting the name of a strange god come out your mouth, and you got it printed on your flesh. Uh-oh. Right? But it constantly kept you thinking on the laws of the Most High. Y'all see that? That was the point. It wasn't about judging, pointing out everything on somebody else. It was about examining yourself. Y'all see that? Go ahead.
This is Proverbs chapter 15, verse 26.
Let me know y'all got it.
Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 26.
Huh?
The thoughts of the wicked are an abomination to the Lord.
The thoughts of the wicked are an abomination to the Lord, because the wicked are never thinking on the laws of the Most High. They're never thinking on anything pure or on anything righteous. So that's why their thoughts will be an abomination, because they're always against anything that the Most High sets down. So if the Most High wants us to constantly meditate on His laws, His precepts, the wicked don't even consider that. They're not considering anything, any of the laws. They see the spots in their couches and in their houses. Like you said with Esau will just try to cover it up. We got something to what they say?
Spray on it.
Yeah, spray on it.
Right.
Instead of just getting rid of it.
Your couch is getting moldy and everything. Oh yeah, you got throw pillows. You just need to reupholster it. Like, no, you need to get rid of that damn thing and get another one. Take it out and burn it. Y'all see that?
God.
So you can kill all that disease and pestilence that's in it. That's why he called it every time. He called it a plague. You see that? He didn't minimalize it. He said that's a plague. It's a plague of leprosy. It's a plague. That little spot that won't come out, that's a plague. Y'all see that?
God.
Why? Because if it's in your mind, and that little spot in your mind, that little bit of doubt, that becomes a plague. You understand? It messes up the whole mind. That was the whole point. Where you at? You finished that?
Oh, keep going.
But the words of the pure are pleasant words.
Yeah, the words of the pure are pleasant words, because we know the law. So we're always thinking, meditating on the law. So even like you said, concerning Esau, they just wanted to cover up the mold. But you were like, nah, cut it out, because you're looking out for your family. Right. You're looking out for your whole household. So, but they don't even think about that. Yeah, that's all I had on it though.
Yeah. So where we at? That's a good point, man. Good point.
Leviticus chapter 13, verse 56. And if the priest look, and behold, the plague be somewhat dark after the washing of it, then he shall rend it out of the garment, or out of the skin, or out of the warp, or out of the woof. And if it appear still in the garment, either in the warp, or in the woof, or in anything of skin, it is a spreading plague. Thou shalt burn that wherein the plague is with fire, and the garment either warp or woof, or whatsoever thing of skin it be, which thou shalt wash. If the plague be departed from them, then it shall be washed the second time, and shall be clean. This is the law of the plague of leprosy, in a garment of woolen or linen, either in the warp or woof, or anything of skins, to pronounce it clean, or to pronounce it unclean.
That was it? Alright, so the next reader, Velate, have you come up, and then you're gonna read. He was supposed to stop at 58. You're gonna read verse 59 and then to 14, verse 32. All right.
Shabbat Yashal, Yehoda, Ban Yashala.
Velote, Shabbat Yashal, Yehoda, Ban Yashala. Imagine. Barak.
Yahweh Shem Yahushai Brakathum.
Yehovah Shem Yahushai Barakatah.
I know. I was waiting for someone to hit you.
You're gonna read from
9 to 14 verse 32.
yeah.
You could just start at 14. Somebody read verse 15. He's rolling. Yes, sir.
Leviticus chapter 14 verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, This shall be the law of the leper in the day of his cleansing. He shall be brought unto the priest, and the priest shall go forth out of the camp, and the priest shall look, and behold, if the plague of leprosy be healed in the leper, then shall the priest command to take for him that is to be cleansed 2 birds, alive and clean, and cedar wood, and scarlet, and hyssop. And the priest shall command that one of the birds be killed in the earthen vessel over running water. As for the living bird, he shall take it, and the cedar wood, and the scarlet, and the hyssop, and shall dip them, and the living bird in the blood of the bird that was killed over the running water. And he shall sprinkle upon him that is to be cleansed from the leprosy 7 times, and shall pronounce him unclean, and shall let the living bird loose into the open field.
Where you at?
Verse 8. And he that is to be cleansed shall wash his clothes, and shave off all his hair, and wash himself in water, that he may be clean. And after he shall.
So when you get to Christ cleansing the leper, he said, "Go and give your offering to the priest." This is what he was supposed to do, and then the priest was going to do this to him. He was going to take that living bird. He was going to cut its head off and put in the blood that came out of that bird. He was going to dip a live bird in there, and he was going to let that basically flap its wings and sprinkle the man with that blood. You understand? So this way, it was a symbolism to the spirit that, listen, this man is clean. All right. Go ahead.
And after that, he shall come into the camp, and shall tarry about abroad out of his tent 7 days. 9. But it shall be on the 7th day that he shall shave all his hair off his head, and his beard, and his eyebrows, and even all his hair he shall shave off. And he shall wash his clothes. Also he shall wash his flesh in water, and he shall be clean.
Right. Remember I told you got those microscopic organisms that live all in your hairs, on your eyebrows. Most I said cut all that off. You gotta start fresh. Get rid of all them little organisms and all that stuff that had to do with your uncleanness, and then you could come back completely clean. Y'all see that? Go ahead.
And on the 8th day he shall take 2 lambs. He shall take 2 lambs without blemish, and 1 ewe lamb.
So a female lamb. Go ahead.
Of the first year without blemish,
and 3/10 dill of fine flour for a meat offering, mingled with oil, and one log of oil. 11. And the priest that maketh him clean shall present the man that is to be made clean, and those things before the Lord at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. 12. And the priest shall take one he lamb and offer him for a trespass offering, and the log of oil, and the wave for them for a wave offering before the Lord. 13. And he shall slay the lamb in the place where he shall kill the sin offering and the burnt offering, and in the holy place. For as the sin offering is the priest's, so is the trespass offering. It is most holy.
So showing you that when a person was leprous, yeah, that was a sin. It did count as sin. Alright? It counted as a trespass of the law. Alright? So when Miriam got struck with that leprosy, whenever somebody got cursed, what did the Most High do? He hit them with leprosy. Changed their skin color. Right? Gave them that disease. Why? So it will be evident to everybody that they sinned. Y'all see that? That's why it had to be, okay, you know what? There's something else deeper than this pimple you got. See, it doesn't spread physically, it doesn't manifest it and spread under the skin to defile you more than just a pimple does. And then at the same time, something is up with your thoughts, something is up with your mind, breaching your spirit that is spread in your spirit, man. Y'all see that? It's causing that blemish in your spirit. You got to be put out. Y'all see that? These were things that the priest determined, though. Y'all see it? And it was based on these things. The Most High was. That's why when we read the scripture, we say a man's gait, his attire, his excessive laughter show what he is. Yeah, how can we judge people off of their look? Because they have a certain look to them that tells you what manner of person they are. Y'all see that? The priest would do it even deeper. They'd be able to tell off your hair, off of how it was growing, off a bump on your skin, what type of man you were. Y'all see that? All right. Where we at?
Verse 14. And the priest shall take some of the blood of the trespass offering, and the priest shall put it upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot. 15. And the priest shall take some of the log of oil and pour it into the palm of his own left hand. 16. And the priest shall dip his right finger in the oil that is in his left hand, and shall sprinkle of the oil with his finger 7 times before the Lord. And the rest of the oil that is in his hand shall the priest put upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot, upon the blood of the trespass offering. 18. And the remnant of the oil, that is in the priest's hand, he shall pour upon the head of him that is to be cleansed, and the priest shall make an atonement for him before the Lord. 19. And the priest shall offer the sin offering to make an atonement for him that is to be cleansed from his uncleanness, and afterwards he shall kill the burnt offering. 20. And the priest shall offer the burnt offering and the meat offering upon the altar, and the priest shall make an atonement for him, and he shall be clean. 21. And if he be poor and cannot get so much, then he shall take one lamb for a trespass offering to be waived, to make an atonement for him, and 1/10 dill of fine flour mingled with oil for a meat offering, and a log of oil. 22. And 2 turtle doves, or 2 young pigeons, such as he is able to get, and the one shall be a sin offering, and the other a burnt offering. 23. And he shall bring them on the 8th day for his cleansing unto the priest, unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before the Lord. And the priest shall take the lamb of the trespass offering and the log of oil, and the priest shall wave them for a wave offering before the Lord. And he shall kill the lamb of the trespass offering, and the priest shall take some of the blood of the trespass offering and put it upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot. 26. And the priest shall pour of the oil upon into the palm of his hand, the palm of his own left hand. 27. And the priest shall sprinkle with his right finger some of the oil that is in the left hand 7 times before the Lord. 28. And the priest shall put oil, and the priest shall put of the oil that is in his hand upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot, upon the place of the blood of the trespass offering. 29. And the rest of the oil that is in the priest's hand he shall put upon the head of him that is to be cleansed, to make an atonement for him before the Lord. 30. And he shall offer the one of the turtle doves, and or of the young pigeons, such as he can get. 31. Even such as he is able to get, the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering, with the meat offering, and the priest shall make an atonement for him that is to be cleansed before the Lord. 32. This is the law of him in whom is the plague of leprosy, whose hand is not able to get that which pertaineth to his cleansing.
Alright, any questions on that? No?
So if you're poor, you can have to get you got what you were able to get.
Right. So you caught your turtle dove, your pigeon, whatever that you can get, and that's what you brought to the priest. And again, this was not just a cleansing of your flesh. This obviously they sprinkled you over with blood and oil and put oil all over you and everything like that, right? So you weren't cleansing your flesh, you were cleansing your mind against those old thoughts. That time of your separation, now you was being put back in mind of the Most High. You understand? You're among the priests. You're in the temple. You're seeing the holy things. You're watching the priests do their office and everything like that, and you're being basically immersed, rebaptized in that whole life of being an Israelite, because you've been separated from the camp. You've been separated from brothers and sisters. You've been separated from the priests. You understand? You've been separated from the convocations. All you've been with is your thoughts. Y'all see that? And in those times of your sicknesses, a lot of y'all know what I do. What I do against the Most High that He's doing this to me. Why is this happening? You along with the defiled thoughts and what? Screw everybody. And you go through denial and depression and all the little steps, right? You go through all that, And then what? The Most High, when he cleanses you of that, now you, oh, okay, well, let me go back to business as usual. Nah, what about all them defile? What about all the curses you was setting up to the Most High and how you was dealing with him? You gotta go get cleansed from that. You see that? We gotta reinstitute your mind back into the matrix that the Most High has set up. We gotta plug you back in so you can be back in the spirit. You gotta get in that. You gotta be around this. See, this took time. It wasn't just I don't have my cough no more. Oh, I'm better. Oh, what, bro? Okay, okay. Nah, man. You were sitting in that bed talking about the Most High don't love you. The Most High don't like you. Maybe I'm just wicked. You was doing all that. You gotta atone for that, bro. You gotta purge them thoughts, man. You see that? We gotta get you around the spirit again. You gotta be there for a while, man. Well, no, wait. Don't just leave yet. We gotta sacrifice this dove. Did you get the dove? Did you get that? Okay, we gotta do that. We gotta sprinkle you all over, right? The whole time you sitting in there, hearing the smelling the incense, being around the presence. Y'all see that? So that time it took to go ahead and reestablish your body as being clean, right? Your mind was getting clean. It was getting purged from all that thoughts. Just like when you come in, right? You might have just had an argument with your girl, then you come in and all of a sudden just being around the spirit of other brothers and sisters, right? Or you had an argument with your man, or you cuss somebody out in traffic, whatever. Your mind is just on that and anger and all these things and bitterness, right? But you come in and you hear that one class and it's like, damn, that had to do with just me. Did husband tell him what I did? Right? Why does he keep looking at me? Right? And you get that class and it's just, you start purging your thoughts. You see that? And you start to be around the spirit and it's like, oh man, I gotta stop doing that. Oh man, I realized how deep it was. I didn't realize it was that big a deal. Y'all see that? That's what this was about. It was spiritual. It wasn't like, oh, you got a pimple? Okay, bring your doves and we gotta sprinkle you. No. Listen. You got sick. You've been out. You've been gone. You see that? You've been out of his presence for a long time, man. Now you're healed. Okay, you can give thanks. That's cool, but we need to reassemble your mind, man. We got to purge your mind out and let that be re-immersed in the spirit. This was a baptism. You understand? It was physical, the little symbolism and all that, but your spirit was being baptized. Your mind was being re-baptized again to, okay, now I'm around the holy things. You see that? I'm amongst the clean again. You see? See, it was made a big deal because the Most High knew your thoughts. You understand? He knew what kind of thoughts come with you being separate. You understand that? So when he brought you back in, he wanted to make a big deal out of it. It was like almost like getting a plaque and an award, right? When you get that award, you ain't sitting there thinking about, well, they're just doing this to have pity on me. You're like, I got an award. I'm happy, right? Your mind gets purged off them thoughts. Y'all see that? This is what this was. It was reinstituting you into the spirit. But we just saw it as, okay, I'm gonna commit this sin, and then I'm just gonna bring my lamb and my sheep and kill it, and then okay, you gonna do the thing, wave the thing, okay, all right, cool, and then right back to sinning. Y'all see that? It was supposed to purge your mind. Y'all see this? So you have to be super hard-headed at this point to still go back to those original sins, because you're like, wait a minute, bro, you just spent 3 hours with the priest dipping blood and sprinkling blood all over you and slaughtering animals and doing all this, using the presence of the Most High for all that time, and you gonna go right back to it? Come on, man. Yeah. You gotta be out of your mind, man. You gotta be super hard-headed. Because that was supposed to purge that. Y'all see that? Where we at? Next reader? Alright. So you're going to read Leviticus 14, verse 33 through 15, verse 8. And we'll bring Samuel up for that.
Do you have a question, sir?
Oh, what's the question?
Based off Leviticus 11, verse 41, would chickens be considered kosher since they creep on the ground? Leviticus 11:20. All fowls that creep on all fours shall be an abomination.
Well, they don't creep on all fours. All right, their wings are up above the ground. All right, so that they're not like bats where they have, like I brought that example when we went over that last week. They're not like bats where they actually crawl on the ground with their legs and with their hands. All right, they're not like that. They fly. The bats fly, but they crawl on the ground like this on all fours because that gets them closer to insects and things like that they can eat. All right. Chickens don't do that. Chickens are on two legs. All right. They sit down sometimes, but their wings ain't all on the ground and everything like that. Y'all see that?
Done.
And so they will be counted as one of the birds that fly that you can eat, or the birds that don't fly that you can eat. Sorry. All right.
Yep.
Yes,
That was it.
yes.
All right. Yeah, they don't creep on all fours. We gotta remember these words in there. All right, it's just like the insects that creep. They had the ones that they stood on four legs. Those are okay as long as their knees were above their feet, right? Because the only thing that happens is their feet touch the ground. Their whole body doesn't just drag around in the dirt and get all filth and everything like that and everything stuck to it. All right, but the animals that crawl on their six and with their feet and their knees and everything like that drags on the ground. Their body drags on the ground. He didn't want you eating that because they're literal bottom feeders. They're eating the lowest common denominator. Y'all see that? Or they're meant to burrow in the earth. They, grasshoppers. They're not burrowed down in the earth. Y'all see that? So they're not sitting down there with all kinds of uncleanness and filth and garbage and doo-doo and all that. Y'all see that? So those were okay to eat. They fly, they jump, they do all that. But the ones that go up under the earth and all that, no, you didn't eat those. All right. All right. So where we? Oh, Samuel's coming up to read, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Samuel, Shabbat the Shah, Yahweh Da, Ban Yashuawa.
Samuel, Shabbat Tashah, Yehoda, Ban Yasha'Allah, Imagine, Barak.
Yahweh Ba's Rock, sorry, Salah. Yahweh Ba's Sham, Yahweh Shabbat Rakatham.
Yehovah Shema Shah Barakatah.
Alright, at the top. Come on up.
But I know they like to know my name.
Excuse me. Come on.
All right, so you're at Leviticus chapter 14, verse 33. You're going to read to 15, verse 8.
Leviticus chapter 14, verse 33. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, When ye be come into the land of Canaan, which I give to you for a possession, and I put the plague of leprosy in a house of the land of your possession, and he that owneth the house shall come and tell the priest, saying, It seemeth to me there is as it were a plague in the house. Then the priest shall come in, that they empty the house before the priest go into it to see the plague, that all that is in the house be not made unclean. And afterward the priest shall go in to see the house, and he shall look on the plague, and behold, if the plague be in the walls of the house with hollow straits, greenish or reddish, which in sight are lower than the wall, then the priest shall go out of the house to the door of the house and shut up the house 7 days. And the priest shall come again the 7th day, and shall look, and behold, if the plague be spread in the walls of the house, Then the priest shall command that they take away the stones in which the plague is, and they shall cast them into an unclean place without the city. And he shall cause the house to be scraped within round about, and they shall pour out the dust that they scrape off without the city into an unclean place. 42. And they shall take other stones and put them in the place of those stones, and he shall take other mortar and shall plaster the house.
Right. See, so even dealing with your house. So you dealt with your body, right? You dealt with your, these are things you deal with every day. You live in your house. You have your body on you all the time, right? Your clothes that you put on. Everything was keeping you in mind of the laws. All right. So you saw these things. You saw this milk mold in your house. You didn't just spray it. All right. No, you scraped. If it was a stone wall, you scraped that whole layer off. And you took the dust of that and you threw it out, right? If you scraped down and you found that there was more mold and it was all the way into the rock, you took the whole rock out. You see that? You took that whole brick, that whole stone, or that whole wall out, and you replaced that. You understand? Shalom. You understand that, right? So this was to keep you in mind consistently of the Most High's commandments. All right? But we're at where?
43.
Leviticus 14, verse 33.
Leviticus 14, verse 43.
Oh, verse 43, okay.
And if the plague come again and break out in the house, after that he had taken away the stones, and after he had scraped the house, and after it is plastered, then the priest shall come and look, and behold, if the plague be spread in the house, it is a fretting leprosy in the house. It is unclean. And he shall break down the house, the stones of it, and the timber thereof, and all the mortar of the house. And he shall carry them forth out of the city into an unclean place. Moreover, he that goeth into the house all the while that it is shut up shall be unclean until the even. And he that lieth in the house shall wash his clothes, and he that eateth in the house shall wash his clothes. And if the priest shall come in and look upon it, and behold, the plague had not spread in the house after the house was plastered, then the priest shall pronounce the house clean, because the plague is healed. 49. And he shall take to cleanse. I didn't miss that. I thought I missed something. And he shall take to cleanse the house 2 birds, and cedar wood, and scarlet, and hyssop. And he shall kill the one of the birds in an earthen vessel over running water. And he shall take the cedar wood, and the hyssop, and the scarlet, and the living bird, and dip them in the blood of the slain bird, and in the running water, and sprinkle the house 7 times. And he shall cleanse the house with the blood of the bird, and with the running water, and with the living bird, and with the cedar wood, and with the hyssop, and with the scarlet. But he shall let go the living bird out of the city into the open fields, and make an atonement for the house, and it shall be clean. This is the law for all manner of plague of leprosy and scowl, and for the leprosy of a garment and of a house, and for a rising, and for a scab, and for a bright spot, to teach when it is unclean, and when it is clean. This is the law of leprosy. Chapter 15, verse 1, Leviticus.
Any questions on that?
Law.
Alright, so again, showing you the Most High brought these things down so we would know how to identify these sicknesses, these illnesses, these diseases, right? And be able to move it from us. Y'all see that? Now, spiritually, you were supposed to analyze that. You were supposed to analyze things you hear and see. and take those in and say, wait a minute, that's gonna make me unclean. Hey, that's not right. That's not cool. Y'all see that? That's not lawful. Let me check that and make sure that doesn't become a part of me. Let me put that out from away from me. Y'all see that?
Got it.
Right. So this was to build an analysis in you, a spiritual analysis, not just a physical one. All right. We got the Ruth question again. Did we label that one when we did it last time?
It's 2 classes ago.
2 classes ago. So they could check out not Wednesday. Was it Wednesday class?
It was Wednesday.
Yeah, you can check out Wednesday's class. For Be More, you can check out Wednesday's class. We went over that about Ruth being an Israelite or a Moabite. All right.
Read the first chapter.
Yeah. As well, what's his name? First chapter.
Yeah, if you can find that class and just pop it up there. All right, let's go ahead and get on with the reading.
Leviticus chapter 15, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When any man hath a running issue out of his flesh, because of his issue he is unclean. And this shall be his uncleanness in his issue, whether his flesh run with his issue, or his flesh be stopped from his issue, it is uncleanness. Every bed whereon he lied that had the issue is unclean, everything whereon he sitteth shall be unclean.
Right, so whatever running issue, whatever kind of thing could issue from your body and just keep running, whether it be drool, whether it be excrement, whether it be feces, urine, whatever, right? Semen, anything that just kept running, pus, any of that, they was put away. Y'all see that? Like I said, they do it in the hospital all the time, and you never really take note, like, why would the Most High be nitpicking like this? Well, because he was trying to keep us clean, like they do in the hospital, right? In the hospital, they sop up your blood, they throw it in the red bag. They don't throw it in the regular garbage, they throw it in the red bag, right? You drooling all over yourself, they sop all that up, they throw it in the red bag. All biohazardous waste. You see that? You got pus with a drainage, they drain something, they throw it in the red bag. Y'all see that? So we got to understand these things. These are what we call biohazardous waste. The Most High had already warned us against way back when. All right? Y'all with me? Okay. So if the man had a running issue, a man or a woman, he had a running issue, which is basically any kind of fluids that continuously leaked out of your body, you were unclean. All right? Go ahead.
Leviticus 15, verse 5. And whosoever toucheth his bed shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even. And he that sitteth on anything whereon he sat that hath the issue shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even.
Right, like even sweat. Like I brought up about the mats, the gym mats the other day, right? You know, you just, all you're doing is wrestling and sweating or whatever, right? Training on that. They tell you what, okay, you gotta mop it down with that bleach, you know, get that ammonia, mop it down, right? Why? Because the worms that be in your flesh come through your sweat, be all in the mats. Then they start growing and mutating in the dark and the damp, right? And the next time you unroll that mat, somebody over there rolling around in that, and then it gets under their skin. You see that? And then you got hookworm, tapeworm, ringworm. Y'all see that? Well, how do we stop that? We kept a person with a running issue like that, we kept them away. Y'all see that? Go ahead.
Leviticus chapter 15, verse 7. And he that toucheth the flesh of him that had the issue shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even. Verse 8. And if he that had the issue spit upon him that is clean, then he shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening.
Come. Any questions?
Lot.
So see that even if he spit on that person, right? That's why the Most High said that with Miriam, right? In Numbers 12. He said if her father is spit in her face, wouldn't she be unclean 7 days? Send her out the camp for 7 days. She's grounded. Y'all see that? You hit her with that leprosy. Oh, please take this away from her. Okay, I'll take it away from her. But if her father is spit in her face, she'd be unclean 7 days. So I basically spit in her face. Y'all see that?
That's gross.
Yeah. So just simple things like that. The slob that come out of your mouth, he was like, nah, that's unclean. You said 7 days, you gotta separate yourself. Why? Because whatever got you to the point, whatever mindset got you to the point to make your own father spit in your face, whatever got you to the mindset that got you to the point where a man will want to spit in your face, you gotta clean that out of your mind, man. Y'all obviously need a cooling off period if a man just spit in your face, man. He about to murder you, probably. Yes. Ain't nobody gonna just spit in your face and that's the end of it, right? Oh, you spit on me, man. Like, you all right? Nah, that's fighting words, right? That's a fight. That's a fist fight ready to happen, and then somebody gonna get killed or hurt, right? Okay, so cool off. If a man's just spit in your face, y'all need to be separated for 7 days, man. You need to be away from that person for at least 7 days, man. Y'all need to chill. Y'all see that? Right. So the Most High on every level was thinking way 20 million steps ahead of us, man. That's why when you read that, Isaiah 55, verse 8 and verse 9, he tells you, my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither your ways my ways. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways than your ways. We're barely figuring these things out, looking at the law, seeing, okay, so just not the letter of the law. I'm not waiting for somebody to spit on me. I'm making sure I avoid that whole mind state. I'm making sure I don't push my brother to that point that he wants to spit in my face. Y'all see that? Right. But any questions on that chapter? All right. Let's go. Next reader is going to come up and read Leviticus 15, verse 9 through 33. And then we're going to go to 2 Kings. What?
Chapter 7, verse 3 through 11.
Oh, 7 verse 3 through 11. Okay. All right. So, either of y'all feel like reading? What's your name, bro? Kevin. You been here before?
First time.
Oh, okay. All right. What brought you through?
Oh, man. Lion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've been good friends with him for a few years, actually.
He sell you oil or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since he was at Memorial City Ball, I've been knowing him since then.
Oh, cool. All right.
Him and the other guy, I forgot the short guy. I forgot who was selling oils with him.
Zion?
Huh?
Zion? Jessica?
Justin?
I think it was, yeah.
Okay.
He just left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he just went to the mall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. And then I lost it, man. Help me out. What's the name?
Oh,
Jeff. That's right. Yeah. Did you want to read?
Oh.
All right. Then we'll have Priest Lakarab read. Right. So you're starting at Leviticus 15, verse 9 through 33.
Leviticus chapter 15, verse 9. And what saddle soever he rideth upon that hath the issue shall be unclean. And whosoever toucheth anything that was under him shall be unclean until the even. And he that beareth any of those things shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even.
So now you're seeing that even if you worked in the profession, or were part of the profession of cleaning this person, or if you're part of the profession of being around this person, that made you think on the laws of the Most High. You see that? So every situation you could be in, if you're clean yourself, okay, cool. So you walking around, you're clean, right? But you see somebody unclean, you're reminded of the laws of the Most High again. I gotta make sure I don't sit where he sat and drink what he drank and touch what he touched and nothing. I can't be around that person, but I'm thinking on the Most High. I'm not judging that person. I'm making sure I myself don't end up defiled. You see that? It wasn't about judging others. It was about judging yourself. Y'all see this? Huh? All right.
Question. Hold on.
Yeah.
So, okay, yes, we're not supposed to judge, but when you're in that situation and you're looking on the affliction that that person is going through, I mean, aren't you wondering? Well, I wonder why that's happening to them. And I mean, yes, it's a reminder for us to make sure we're watching our thoughts and our actions so that we don't end up like that. But at the same time, you're observing what they're going through. So aren't you thinking on, okay, I wonder what they did, or is that wrong?
Back then, it was already known. That's why you offered a sin offering after. You see that? It was already known. Okay. But because of the fact that the whole world wasn't defiled, you must have done something to transgress the laws that this happened to you. You see that? Now it can happen to anybody. You can go outside and catch 8 communicable diseases. That don't mean you sinned. You know what I mean? That means the whole earth is defiled now. But back then, we lived in a clean environment. That was like, okay, how you get sick in the hospital? You must have touched something in the red bag. You must have been messing with some stuff that caused you to get sick because you were in the hospital.
But don't even today, like I find myself, like if I bite my tongue, I'm talking, and I associate it, or I reflect back on what I was thinking moments before I bit the hell out of my tongue.
Right.
You know, I mean, so isn't it the same for us today? Even though the world is defiled and you can get the diseases and things like that, but if you're examining yourself to that point, that's right?
Yeah, that's what you're doing. You're supposed to examine yourself. You understand? But it's like the scripture said, has thou faith, have it unto thyself. Happy is the man that condemneth not himself in that thing which he alloweth. Right? Okay, so what is he saying that for? Because Satan will use that opportunity where you're sitting there trying to figure out, well, what did I do? The Most High let me hurt myself, or the Most High wanted to check me by this pain, right? And then you sitting there second guessing and second questioning yourself, and then you start condemning yourself. Well, I can't figure it out. I must just be wicked. You know, Satan will use that opportunity to start throwing thoughts in your head and helping you to condemn yourself. No, you check yourself. Okay, what about, have I been doing anything breaking the laws of the Most High? Let me talk to somebody around me. Hey, you see any fault in me that I've been doing something? Let me get counsel, right? Like we went over the other night. People don't want to hear about themselves. Yeah, you don't sit there and think on your own things and then end up condemning yourself. No, you let other men check you or praise you. You see that? So they can go ahead and examine you and say, okay, that's why we went to the priest. You see that? We didn't go to the doctor, the physician. We had those too. We went to the priests. Well, why? Because they was going to examine your spirit too. You see that? They was going to be checking out all your little facial tics and seeing if you was going to not look them in the eye or something. Okay, you guilty of something. You understand? You better get you some doves, man. Right?
Whatever you can get.
Right? And it's funny that they make the soap, right? The soap is supposed to get you clean, dove. But back then, you had to get clean with a real dove, man. Y'all see that? But that's the thing, is they was checking your spirit. They wasn't just checking your physical. That's why you went to the priest. If it was about the physical, he would have said, go to the doctor, go to the physician. You see that? But on these things, these certain things must have been from sin. So you went to the priest. These certain things were from uncleanness of your body, and therefore must be of your spirit. Like we check, brothers, we do inspection before they go to the malls, right? They do inspection. They check, okay, is your shirt pressed? Do you smell right? Is your breath hot? You know what I mean? All these things. Why? Because, well, why didn't you take the time to press your pants? Oh, I just didn't have time. I was rushing. Why were you rushing? Well, I woke up late. Oh, well, why'd you wake up late? See, it's going to come back to what is wrong with you. Oh, you just don't possess the maturity to set an alarm? You see that? Or are you sick? Is there something else wrong with you? It's going to come out in the wash. You see that? You're going to get examined. And that's the same thing. Is okay, the priest was going to examine you. What are you living filthy? I mean, well, listen, okay, you got this boil. We need to go check out your house now. We need to see what you're surrounding yourself with. Y'all see that? Do you got lust on you? Do you got pride on you? Do you got envy? We're going to check this out by seeing you and your surroundings. But the doctor, he's just going, oh, let me put an ointment on it. All right, see you later. Y'all see that? So yeah, all this was spiritual. All of this was. All right. Did that answer your question though? All right.
Yeah, speaking of that, I had a serious problem before I came into truth with condemning my own self when I would mess up or slip up or do something, and the Lord had to show me there's no condemnation in Christ. I know I had gave my life truly to Him, but when I would mess up, I would condemn myself so terribly. And I realized I was messing up because Lord had to let me see I'm not practicing sin. See, that's the difference. When I gave my life to the Lord, I discontinued my practice of sinning. Instead of me getting up thinking about something I could do wasn't right, I got up thinking of what I could do for the Lord this day. Until I came to that mindset, it had me messed up. I know it wasn't but the devil now when I look back and think that it was him that kept me all confused like that, because we know the Most High ain't the author of confusion, but I had a serious problem with that. Yeah. I would mess up. I would condemn myself terribly. Yeah. And it would have me, I wouldn't even read. I feel like I wouldn't pray because I said, I ain't even ready to go even ask God nothing. That's how he conditioned me in.
Right. Yeah.
Until I came till he brought me to my senses. Now, it's a whole lot different. If I do slip, then I know to go to the Most High, and I know to go to Christ about that. And because I know that he said you confess them sins, he's faithful to forgive me from them sins. But the difference is that I'm not practicing a sinful life. We're not getting up deliberately sinning against God because I know of His grace. That's the difference.
Right. You see that? Just being able to see that these are the things that occur while you're in your sickness or while you're in this problem or your despair or whatever, while you're in your sin, is that your mind starts getting clouded. You see that? So we got to know that, okay, that time, the Most High was brilliant in the way He set down the law, because when you came back, it wasn't just okay, you're clean, you're good. Come on back. You know what I mean? No, it was a ceremony. It was a welcome back. It was a blood all over, oil all over, being anointed, all that. Why? Get your mind back right.
Wow.
Get your mind out of condemnation. Okay, I am acceptable again to the Most High. I'm clean in His sight. I am okay to come back. I'm not. The priest even said it's okay. You see that? So that that condemnation stops. You see that? Right. You got to think of them lepers that was all that time just wandering around when Christ met them. You see that? That they was, what was their mind state? You see? What must have been their mind state if 10 of them went to Christ and He healed all of them, right? And they all left except for one. That's why y'all lepers, man. Y'all ungrateful little bastards, and you don't take the time to think about certain things. You didn't take the time to watch your body, to watch your surroundings, to watch these other things and watch your mind state. That's what made you a leper. That one that came back, what did He tell him? Well, offer your offering to the priest. Get rid of that mind state. Let Him sprinkle that blood on you. Put that oil on you. You see that? And go and get rid of that mind state of being condemned. Get rid of that mind state of being separated from the whole congregation of Israel. You see that? Go get rid of that. Go get cleansed back and be reintegrated into the community. You see that? But those 9 that left, they didn't care. That was their problem. They probably went right back to doing the unclean things that made them lepers, man. We gotta see these things. We gotta understand that there's a mind state that led to these uncleannesses, and there's a mindset that leads you back in. And we didn't understand that dealing with just the law. You understand? That's why when Christ's time came, he was always saying, "You have heard that it was said. You have heard that the law says this." Why? Because that's all you was doing. You wasn't reading it for yourself no more. You was hearing it. You went to the synagogue. All right, yeah. Bye. You understand? It wasn't no more. Let me look into that. Why is that? Let me meditate on that. No, it was just, yeah, I heard it. I did what we do. You know, that's the custom. And now I'm gonna go right back to it. Y'all see that? All right, where we at?
Leviticus chapter 15, verse 11.
Okay.
And whosoever he toucheth that hath the issue, and hath not rinsed his hands in water, he shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even. And the vessel of earth that he toucheth which hath the issue shall be broken, and every vessel of wood shall be rinsed in water.
Hey, we got a question. That I gotta deal with, and we're gonna go to Esdras for this one. What is it? We're going to go to 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 13 to answer this.
2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 13.
It says, how do we know which Gentiles will be getting killed when Yahushua comes back and which ones will go into captivity? Another thing you want to do is read Matthew's 25, right, where he tells them about the sheep and the goats being separate, right? The angels are going to decide that. They're going to decide who gets punished, who gets killed, and who doesn't. All right? Who ends up being a captive, a slave, a servant, a king, a ruler, whatever. All right? But we're going to read 2nd Ezra 9:13. Y'all got it? Go ahead.
2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 13. And therefore be not curious how the ungodly shall be punished.
See, the Most High said, don't be curious about how they're going to be punished. Go ahead.
And when.
And when. All right? Don't even worry about the when of it, man. When the wicked going to get theirs? Man, worry about yourself. Abide in your labor. Let the Most High take care of his business. Y'all see that? How he punishes the wicked and with what and what kind of torments, I don't even want to think about, man. Yep. Remember the things that he said he got waiting for them that wait on him? He said, "Eye has not heard, neither ear has not heard, nor the eye have seen, and it ain't even entered into your thoughts the things he has waiting for you that wait on him," right? It's the same for the wicked. They're waiting for the punishment of the Most High, and their thoughts haven't even imagined the things he got these demons ready to do to them. Y'all see that? Like some of it, some of the things that you can think of as a human being, the Most High, those thoughts came from part of his mind. You understand? Like I was just talking, me and I was talking to the brother, telling him about how me and my friends used to sit around and think of ways to, torture people, torture enemies and stuff like that. It's like, you would never do those things to somebody, man. You'd never sit there and just grab nails and jam it up into under their fingernails, or slowly tapping it until their fingernails separate from their finger. That's just me, right? You would be thinking like, what did that happen to me? I can't do this to him, right? But where did that thought come from? That come from the left hand of the Most High, man. You know what I mean? Taking somebody and putting a drill through their kneecap all the way down through their fibula and tibia bones. Those kind of thoughts come from the left hand. the stuff we weren't supposed to have knowledge of. Y'all see that? Yeah, you're thinking about, oh, they're just going to get killed. He's going to come down with a sword. No. He's got angels that specialize in torturing. You understand? You don't want to worry about what's going to happen to them. Some of that stuff might make you throw up on yourself. You understand? Some of that stuff will make you urinate all over yourself just thinking about it. Y'all see that? Remember what happened to Egypt. He showed them what was going to happen before it happened, right? In Wisdom of Solomon 18. He was showing them what was going to happen to them before it happened, and they was waking up in sweats and fainting and passing out like half dead. And you want to inquire what's going to happen to the wicked and when and who? Man, I'm trying to make sure I just ain't one of them. See that? I ain't worried about what's going to happen to them or who it's going to happen to. I'm just trying to make sure I am not one of them. All right? So that's our job, all right? Not to be funny with you, but that's our job, is not to inquire about what's going to happen to the righteous when they go, or the wicked, and when they're going to be punished and how and all that. Go ahead. Read again.
2 Ezra chapter 9, verse 13. And therefore, be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished, and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved.
See that? You should inquire how the righteous is going to be saved, because that's what you want to grab a hold of, right? Like when I'm in, like if the boat's going down, right? If I'm a Titanic member, right? And the boat's going down, and I'm seeing people dying and all this stuff. Am I worried about hey, what's happening to them? Who drowned? I'm looking for the life preserver, man. I'm trying to figure out how I can not be one of them, right? Yeah, you know, and anybody I may be able to take with me, but I'm first and foremost looking for how I can be saved. Y'all see that? You on that Titanic right now. We are all rats on a sinking ship. This world is not long for this world. It's going to be all passed away. So I ain't worried about, okay, oh man, I wonder, I hope he tortured him like this. No, I hope I don't get tortured like that. How do I get saved from that? You see that? All the wicked things I can imagine toward my enemy happening, that came from those left-hand angels, that those thoughts are who they are, what they specialize in. You understand? That came from them. So man, I hope I don't get tormented by that angel that told me what to think about my enemy. You understand? Sure, I hope I don't get tormented like that. What do I got to do to be righteous? Let me talk to the right-hand angel. You see that? So don't inquire about how the wicked is going to be punished and when, but how the righteous is going to be delivered. All right? Come. So let's get back. I didn't see no other question on there. Shalom to everybody from Trinidad, Ohio, Wisconsin, New Jersey, wherever we all at. Shalom.
Shalom.
All right.
It's Leviticus chapter 15, verse
15 to 13? Okay.
Leviticus chapter 15, verse 13. And when he that had an issue is cleansed of his issue, then he shall number to himself 7 days for his cleansing, and wash his clothes, and bathe his flesh in running water, and shall be clean. And on the 8th day he shall take to him 2 turtle doves, or two young pigeons, and come before the Lord unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and give them unto the priest. And the priest shall offer them, the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering, and the priest shall make an atonement for him before the Lord for his issue. And if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water, and be unclean until the even.
So your seed of copulation, that's just your semen. If you ejaculated, you was unclean. You had to go take a shower and be unclean until the evening. You understand? There wasn't no sleeping in the wet spot. It wasn't no, I'm just going to throw on my clothes and go to work. So let all that TV knowledge and movie knowledge, get that out of your brain. That's defiled, man. That's how TV and movies, man, they teach you how to eat. If you're not righteous and spiritual, They'll teach you how to defile yourself on every single level, man. And it'll be so subconscious and subtle, man. You know, you watch. I was watching the movie No Strings Attached, and they wake up, they all sweaty and everything like that. And they kiss each other and everything like that. And he goes and he starts throwing his clothes on. Oh my God, I'm late for work. He throws his clothes on and just jumps in the car and rolls out. Like, bruh, you got to shower, man. You got all her juices on you, all your juices on you, sweat all on you. You just gonna go to work?
You didn't brush your
Yeah.
teeth.
Yeah, and then cats can't figure out how did I get a disease? Because you didn't guard your body. You don't worry about what's on you and what's around you and being clean. See that? If you won't do that with the outer of your body, you won't do it with the things that go in you. You won't do it with food. You won't do it with your music, your TV, your surroundings, your conversation, and you definitely won't guard the things that come out of you. Y'all see that? So your whole body is defiled. The things that come out of you become defiled. Y'all see that? So if anybody had a running issue, they were supposed to go wash in water. If you ejaculate, if you had sex, don't go off of what you see in the movies, right? Because they did it real subtle for you, man. In the 70s, they just, they show the fireworks and everything like that, the fireplace, whatever, and then they wake up and they're all blissful, and she pop a cigarette in her mouth. So what did that teach? A whole generation. Oh yeah, I gotta get on that. That looks sexy.
It's cold.
You see that? They already had you in your lust and everything, and then when they got you to that flesh, then they hit you with the cigarette. How to defile yourself. It's the reverse of what the Most High did to Peter, right? He brought it when he was hungry and he was on his flesh. Okay, here, I'll throw you some defiled foods. Eat that. You see that? To where, what? Okay, you trying to show me a message then. You see that? What is TV trying to do? They trying to do the same thing. They attack you through your flesh. They do it right after the love scene, man. There you all in there. Oh, yeah, okay. Then now it's nude scenes and everything. Get you really wrapped up in it. Then right after, he jump in his clothes and leave. No shower. Right? They slept in that all night and they just woke up and then didn't shower or nothing and leave. Y'all see that? Or they smoke, or they whatever they do when they get up, they don't clean themselves. So it taught a whole generation to be unclean, man. We done sold plenty of them cats oils in the mall, man. They come up and you can smell. It's like, dang, man, y'all didn't even. We know y'all just did something. We can smell that. We know what that smell like. You see that? He's gonna come up here with smelling like sweaty body parts and everything. Go home and wash yourself. Y'all see this? But what did TV teach you? Oh yeah, you can cover that up. Y'all see this? It's insane, man. Where we at?
Verse 17.
Uh-huh.
And every garment and every skin whereon is the seed of copulation shall be washed with water and be unclean until the even.
Right, so you didn't leave the sheets there. Alright, you didn't leave the sheets there, and then the next day y'all still sleeping on the same bed, the same sheets and all that. All that had to be washed. Alright? Because it was the same thing. It was your DNA up in there. It was your life force in there. It was your energy in there. It was your blood. Your all that was in there. And that stuff can be contaminated. Alright? Where you at?
Verse 18. The woman also with whom man shall lie with seed of copulation, they shall both bathe themselves in water.
Right, we gotta understand that the same bed bugs and same little bugs that be trying to eat your skin flakes, right? What are they eating your skin flakes for? There's proteins in there. Well, there's protein in your semen. There's proteins in those fluids that come out of your body. So you can't figure out why you got bed bugs when you ain't washed the sheet y'all slept in, man. You ain't washed up and you know what I mean? You just waited till the wet spot dried up. Come on, man. Don't be disgusting. Strip the bed down, throw it in the wash. It ain't hard. It ain't like you gotta go down to the river now and scrub it on the washing board no more. You know what I mean? You throw it in the washing machine, come home, throw it in the dryer, right? And spread it back out. You good. Y'all see that?
Yeah.
Don't be disgusting, man. That's all he was asking us to do. But now we watch TV and there it is. Right? You listen to comedians, they talk about the wet spot. It's like funny. It's like, no, it's not funny. That's why you got bed bugs. That's why you got fleas. You got all these insects that crawl around eating proteins, and you can't figure out where they came from. It's because you don't wash after you have sex. Y'all see that? That's why the Most High did that, so you would check yourself. And then again, spiritually looking at the law, even when you had sex, your mind was snapped right back into, okay, you out of that lust now, you're good, you're done with that, let's snap back into the laws of the Most High. You see that? Let me go wash myself, because that's what the Most High be pleased with. You see that? Hey, go take a shower, bro. Strip the bed down. Throw that. Let's get back into this law, man. We had our fun. Now let's get back into this life. Y'all see that? Where we at?
Verse 19. And if a woman have an issue and her issue in her flesh be blood, she shall be put apart 7 days. And whosoever toucheth her shall be unclean until the evening.
So that's women on their menstrual cycle. If you was in your menstrual cycle, you were unclean for 7 days. All right? Go ahead.
Verse 20. And everything that she lieth upon in her separation shall be unclean. Everything also that she sitteth upon shall be unclean. And whosoever toucheth her bed shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water.
See, we got to look at it's so beautiful the way the Most High set it up, man, because he made those bugs too, right? You're like, well, why do we gotta have to deal with these bugs? He made those bugs to clean the earth to every level, to the microscopic level. They eat the little proteins that your blood left behind if you drip blood on somewhere, right? So why did he? So you don't like bugs? You don't want those unclean animals around you and unclean insects around you? Why would you give them an environment? Why would you create the environment they live in?
Why would you become the environment?
Right. You see that? Nah, you get that away from you. That way to keep them away from you, but they still have a purpose. Y'all see that? Those insects still have a purpose. You get flies and all that, and you're like, I hate these flies. You better love them flies, man. The Most High created them so that you don't just have some rotting corpse stinking up your whole life. You understand? So if something died out in the field or something like that, something would be there to clean it up instead of it just turning into a pile of mush for you to step in. Yeah, the flies, they get in there, they lay their little maggots. They maggots eat that flesh and that ooze and all that stuff like that. And next thing you know, all you got is a dried, bleached carcass sitting there, a dried bunch of bleached bones, because every little insect he made done picked it clean. You see that? And all you got to do is be like, okay. And then he made dogs to eat the bones. Y'all see that? They chew the bones up, grind those up. Then he made big giant animals in case there ain't no dogs around to eat the bones. They smash the bones, right? Elephants will just come stomp them out, right? Bears, whatever. All this he made a perfect circle, man. Perfect 360 degrees from every angle. He made everything perfect to work together. Y'all see that? But he also gave us boundaries. Like it says in Deuteronomy 38 and 32 verse 8. He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel, right? He set the boundaries of animals according to the Israelites. Okay, listen, if you don't want these animals coming in your dwellings, then you get you a sepulcher outside the city. You get you a sepulcher and you put your dead in there. So if the lions come, they stop there and they sniff around there. They don't come walking into the city looking for that dead meat that they can smell. You see that? Oh, why we got stray dogs all over the neighborhood? Well, you got a cemetery at the end of every block. They smell of dead food to eat. They come in to devour and you done put it off in a field somewhere. You see that? So that's why you got stray dogs and cats and all these things you don't want around, because you created the environment for it. Otherwise, they stay their butt off in the hills somewhere, smelling around that tomb. Y'all see that? That's why that was done like that. Everything he did and laid down was perfect. We screwed it up. He gave us paradise here. This will create paradise. We go back into the law and start instituting everything the way the law says. This will create paradise. Ain't got to be in your house you know, they got these little natural remedies now for bugs and all that. Oh yeah, I'll just put some apple cider vinegar in my house and the little bugs will get in there. Why don't you not create the environment for bugs to live in? Clean your house. Why don't you adopt that mind state? Y'all see that? And like I said, you know, not anymore, we can't lay it to people's charge because the whole earth is like this. You know what I mean? You live right next door to the neighbors. You trying to keep everything clean. The neighbors is over there. Man, we went to, that was your house. The neighbors had 8 cartons stacked all outside and everything. You like, what the hell's wrong with these people? Yeah. Make the whole neighborhood look bad. Mm-hmm. That don't mean you. That's your neighbors like that. You know what I mean? So, you know, you swatting flies and trying to figure out where all this is coming from. You look at your neighbor, you like, really?
Stack of 80 cartons.
All right, your dog died in the front yard. You ain't even going to pick him up, throw him in the garbage, bury him something? You're going to leave him there decaying? That's how you going to do? But that's the world we live in, man. It catered to that laziness. It catered to going against the ways of the Most High, man. All right. Well, where we at?
Sir, there's a question online. The brother asking about the Gentiles going into captivity. He said, "Can I have the scriptures again? I know you said 2nd Ezra 9:13, but I don't remember the others."
That was it, right?
Yeah, that was it.
It was it.
Yeah,
That was the only scripture we went to on that topic he was asking about. Right, about not inquiring how the wicked shall be punished.
You actually mentioned Matthew.
Oh, Matthew 25. About how the angels was going to separate. Right. Huh? 25 more?
32.
Yeah, 25 verse 32 down. You read about how the angels was going to come and separate the righteous from the wicked. And then what he was going to do to the wicked. Alright, so you read that, but then you go to Ezra and you find out, don't worry about what happened on the left-hand side. you don't want to know. They went over there. That's all you need to know. They got pushed that way. Alright?
Oh, and then you mentioned Wisdom of Solomon, because we talked about that. Remember?
In Egypt.
In Egypt.
Oh, okay. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 18. Good memory, sis. Yeah, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 18, verse 15 down. Oh, you can read the whole chapter. What happened to the people in Egypt? All right. So that was it on that? All right, go ahead.
Leviticus chapter 15, verse 22. And whosoever toucheth anything that she sat upon shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. And if it be on her bed, or on anything whereon she sitteth, when he toucheth it, he shall be unclean until the even. And if any man lie with her at all, and her flowers be upon him, he shall be unclean 7 days, and all the bed whereon he lied shall be unclean.
Right, now that ain't talking about it was lawful for us to have sex with women on their menstrual, alright? There's times when, you know, you up in there and then she just found out, you both get surprised. Oh, you starting that now. Great. You know what I mean? So what he's showing you is y'all both unclean now for 7 days. Alright? Because her blood or her menstrual got on you. Alright? But that don't mean it was a normal, customary thing for us to be like, oh, you on your cycle? Let me get my Red Wings. We didn't do that. Alright? We did not do that. Go ahead.
Verse 25.
And if a woman have an issue of her blood many days out of the time of her separation, or if it run beyond the time of her separation, all the days of the issue of her uncleanness shall be as the days of her separation. She shall be unclean. Every bed whereon she lieth all the days of her issue shall be unto her as the bed of her separation. And whatsoever she sitteth upon shall be unclean, as the uncleanness of her separation. And whosoever toucheth those things shall be unclean, and shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even.
So when Christ whipped around, he said, hey, who touched me? I felt virtue leave me. He felt himself being defiled. Y'all see that? That's why she shrunk back. She was fearful. Why? Because she just defiled the high priest. Alright? In the law, she should have been stoned, put to death. Alright? She made that priest unclean. You weren't supposed to defile no priest. You understand?
Come.
Where you at?
Verse 28.
But if she be cleansed of her issue, then she shall number to herself 7 days, and after that she shall be clean. And on the 8th day she shall take unto her 2 turtles or 2 young pigeons, and bring them unto the priest to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And the priest shall offer the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for her before the Lord for the issue of her uncleanness. Thus shall ye separate the children of Israel from their uncleanness, and they die not in their own uncleanness, when they defile my tabernacle that is among them. This is the law of him that hath an issue, and of him whose seed goeth from him, and is defiled therewith, and of her that is sick of her flowers, and of him that hath an issue of the man, and of the woman, and of him that lieth with her that is unclean.
Alright, so y'all got that?
Come.
Any questions? Alright.
It's going to be 2 Kings chapter 7. Get a comment, y'all get it?
Come. You said 10 and 7?
Oh no, 7. 2 Kings chapter 7.
7.
Verse 3. 2 Kings chapter 7, verse 3. And there were 4 leprous men at the entering in of the gate, and they said one to another, Why sit we here until we die? If we say we will enter into the city, then the famine is in the city, and we shall die there. And if we sit still here, we die also. Now therefore come, and let us fall unto the host of the Syrians. If they save us alive, we shall live, and if they kill us, we shall but die. And they rose up in the twilight to go unto the camp of the Syrians. And when they were come to the uttermost part of the camp of Syria, behold, there was no man there. For the Lord had made the host of the Syrians to hear a noise of chariots and a noise of horses, even the noise of a great host. And they said one to another, Lo, the king of Israel hath hired against us the kings of the Hittites and the kings of the Egyptians to come upon us. Wherefore they arose and fled in the twilight, and left their tents, and their horses and their asses, even the camp as it was, and fled for their life. And when these lepers came to the uttermost part of the camp, they went into one tent, and did eat and drink, and carried thence silver and gold and raiment, and went and hid it, and came again and entered into another tent, and carried thence also, and went and hid it. Then they said one to another, We do not well. This day is a day of good tidings, and we hold our peace. If we tarry till the morning light, some mischief will come upon us. Now therefore come that we may go and tell the king's household. So they came and called unto the porter of the city, and they told them, saying, We came to the camp of the Syrians, and behold, there was no man there, neither voice of man, but horses tied and asses tied, and the tents as they were. And he called the porters, and they told it to the king's house within.
So y'all see that? They even the unclean had a purpose with the Most High. He sent them out the city. What? Nobody was going out the city, because outside the city was the Syrian camp, the enemy camp, right? But the lepers were like, damn, they over there sitting in the city worried about the Syrians. So they in there starving. And the Syrians over there, so if they leave the city, they gonna get killed. Well, with us, we can't do either one either. Why we just gonna sit here? Let's go to the Syrians and we'll spook them by being leprous. You know what I mean? They'll all want to be away from us. Maybe we can grab something to eat while they backing up off us. Right? Yeah, but if we stay here, we just gonna die. I mean, if we go over there, the worst they can do is kill us. We're gonna die either way. Y'all see that? Beside that, Syrians unclean as hell anyway. They probably ain't even gonna know we lepers. Compared to them, we probably gonna look clean. So they went over there and then found out, oh damn, the whole camp done left. The Most High done put us four, he made us sound like we was chariots of the Most High. He made us sound like an army was coming. They left. Y'all see that? But they had something to report back to Israel. You see this? But that wouldn't have happened if we hadn't done what the law said and put those lepers outside the camp. You see this? But look at their mind state though. Look at the mind state that they weren't just in their feelings and I can't believe they put us out the camp, man. Screw Israel, right? We're gonna live over here and just be fat with the Syrian land. No, they were like, you know what? Our mind is still gonna be on Israel.
Yeah.
Y'all see that? It's still gonna be on their well-being. You know what? If we partake in this, the Most High gonna curse us worse than He already has. They already learned the fear of the Most High. You see that? How? By their sickness. They realize, man, I ain't gonna keep pushing it. I'm not gonna sit over here while the Israel's enemies is over here and not say nothing. While they didn't left and fled from their stuff and just keep all their stuff. You understand? Because the Most High already know how to hit me. So I'm not going to keep defiling myself. Y'all see that? So where we at? 2 Kings 7 and verse 12. All right, so I'll be the last reader. I'm reading through verse 20, right? Okay. And the king arose in the night and said unto his servants, I will now show you what the Syrians have done to us. They know that we be hungry. Therefore are they gone out of the camp to hide themselves in the field, saying, when they come out of the city, we shall catch them alive and get into the city. And one of his servants answered and said, let some take, I pray you, 5 of the horses that remain, which are left in the city. Behold, they are as all the multitude of Israel that are left in it. Behold, I say, they are even as all the multitude of the Israelites that are consumed. And let us send and see. So he said, listen, man, that's a trick, man. The Syrians are left and they waiting out in the surrounding areas. So when we go in the city, they're going to close the city up and trap us in there and kill us like that. So one of his servants was like, well, listen, why don't we send some horsemen, man? They can go check it out. They can go check the scene out. And, you know, they look like a whole army. They look like all the Israelites that are still left alive from this starvation and famine we've been put through. So let them go, and then, you know, they'll be warriors and everything. So if it is a trap, they'll be able to fight. Y'all see that? But they'll think that they got all of Israel when it's really just some men, some army. All right? Where we at?
Verse 14.
All right. Verse 14. They took therefore 2 chariot horses, and the king sent after the host of the Syrians, saying, go and see. And they went after them unto Jordan, and lo, all the way was full of garments and vessels, which the Syrians had cast away in their haste. And the messengers returned and told the king. And the people went out and spoiled the tents of the Syrians. So a measure of fine flour was sold for a shekel, and 2 measures of barley for a shekel, according to the word of the Lord. All right, the backstory on that was Elisha had told the king that this was going to happen. All right, he had told this king, listen, the Most High is going to give you victory against the Syrians, and everything's going to be cheap as hell. All right, the economy is going to be right back where it needs to be, where you're going to be able to buy things cheap. All right, so they were able to spoil the Syrians so that their economy went up, and it was like, dang, we got so much from the Syrians, we don't have to sell it expensive. You see that? All right, so, you know, that's a little bit of the backstory. You can read that as you go back in 2 Kings. Verse 17. And the king appointed the Lord on whose hand he leaned to have the charge of the gate. And the people trode upon him in the gate, and he died, as the man of the Most High had said, who spake when the king came down to him. And it came to pass, as the man of the Most High had spoken to the king, saying, 2 measures of barley for a shekel, and a measure of fine flour for a shekel, shall be to morrow about this time in the gate of Samaria. And that Lord answered the man of the Most High and said, now behold, if the Lord should make windows in heaven, might such a thing be? And he said, behold, thou shalt see it with thine eyes, but shalt not eat thereof. So when Elisha told the king this, the man the king used to lean on for support that man started mocking Elisha, like, yeah, right, man. Even if the heavens opened up, that wouldn't happen. Y'all see that? He doubted, and he was mocking Elisha. So what happened was, when the people opened the gates and saw all the stuff that they could get their hands on, they rushed in the city so hard that they trampled the man out as he was at the gate. And Elisha had told him, yeah, you gonna hear about it, you gonna see it, but you ain't gonna get to partake in it. Why? Because just as he was over the gate seeing all the stuff, the people came rushing through and trampled him. All right, so yeah, the Most High is not mocked. Whatever a man sows, so shall he reap. Y'all see that? And this happened a couple times with Elisha. Right? The kids said, oh, go up, you old bald head. The bears came out and tore 42 of them. Y'all see that? You don't mess with men of the Most High like that. And that's what the Most High is showing here. Go ahead. All right, where we at? 20, I'm reading, right? And so it fell out upon him, for the people trode upon him in the gate, and he died. So we're going from there to St. John chapter 6, verse 8. So this is the perfection of the Most High, man. That this somewhat victory was brought about through even the unclean. The separation of the clean and unclean was righteous and spiritual. You see that? That had a purpose. When he separated clean from unclean, why did he keep them separate? Because the unclean could dwell in places where the clean wouldn't go. Y'all see that? The unclean could go out and be scouting in unclean places. Y'all see that? It was just perfect the way he set everything up. St. John 6, verse 8 through 13, right?
Got it.
Any questions on what we read in 2 Kings? No questions online? All right. St. John. St. John 6, verse 8 through 13. All right. St. John chapter 6, verse 8. One of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, saith unto him, There is a lad here which has 5 barley loaves and 2 small fishes. But what are they among so many? Am I at the right place? Yeah. Alright. And Yahushua said, Make the men sit down. Now there was much grass in the place. So the men sat down in number, about 5,000. When Yahushua took the loaves, and when he had given thanks, he distributed to the disciples, and the disciples to them that were set down, and likewise of the fishes as much as they would. When they were filled, he said unto his disciples, Gather up the fragments, that remain, that nothing be lost. Therefore they gathered them together, and filled 12 baskets with fragments of the 5 barley loaves, which remained over and above unto them that had eaten. Right, okay. So we're going from there. That was the end of that, right?
Right.
Okay, Matthew chapter 8, verse 1 through 17. See how this ties together. All right, it's Matthew chapter 8, verse 1. When he was come down from the mountains, great multitudes followed him. And behold, there came a leper and worshipped him, saying, Lord, if thou wilt, thou canst make me clean. And Yahushua put forth his hand and touched him, saying, I will, be you clean. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed. And Yahushua saith unto him, See thou tell no man, but go thy way, show thyself to the priest, and offer the gift that Moses commanded for a testimony unto them. According to the law, the person that healed him had to present him to the priest. Y'all see that? Y'all remember that? The priest that pronounced him clean had to take him to the priest, had to take him to the congregation and do all these things. So Christ's like, don't tell nobody. I don't want to have to go before the priest and do all this and explain to them how I healed you. You understand? You're going to take me out of my way. I'm trying to do something. So he said, look, go to the priest and go do what you're supposed to do. All right? Let them pronounce you clean, and then they can present you. Go ahead. I keep saying it. Where we at?
Verse 5.
6 verse 5.
8 verse 5.
8 verse 5.
Oh, we're in Matthew 8. That's right. And when Yahushua was entered into Capernaum, there came unto him a centurion, beseeching him, and saying, Lord, my servant lieth at home sick of the palsy, grievously tormented. And Yahushua saith unto him, I will come and heal him. The centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that you shouldest come under my roof, but speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. For I am a man under authority, having soldiers under me. And I say to this man, go, and he goeth, and to another, come, and he cometh, and to my servant, do this, and he doeth it. When Yahushua heard it, he marveled and said to them that followed, Verily, I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. And I say unto you, that many shall come from the east and west, and shall sit down with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And Yahushua said unto the centurion, Go thy way, and as thou hast believed, so be it done unto you. And his servant was healed in the selfsame hour. So we got to see these things, man, that they knew that there was supposed to be a separation between the clean and the unclean. They had faith in the laws of the Most High. Even the nations, the centurion that came to him, had faith in the law of the Most High and said, listen, just speak the word, man. You ain't got to come under my roof. You ain't got to come there and defile yourself. Just speak the word. That'll be enough. I know you command spirits. Y'all see that? But that was like, man, Israel don't even got faith like that, man. They want a sign. You'll believe off me just speaking the word into the air that he's healed. Y'all see that? It's crazy, man. And that's what we got to believe, man. That the Most High, he put these words down. We have to have faith in them. That's why I said the word of the Most High don't go out void. Y'all see that? And we talk to you about, once you hear that, hey, I'm supposed to clean myself up after I have sex. Once you hear these things, you're supposed to do them. Y'all see that? Because that spirit is gone out. Y'all see? That spirit is gone out. So if you haven't submitted to the ways of the Most High, like in the case of Moses, right? He hadn't circumcised his son yet. The angel of death waited in the way to kill him. Did y'all know that? Yeah, we read it a couple weeks ago when we were reading about Moses, when we were reading about the Passover, right? It says Zipporah, she came and she cut the foreskin, and she got a sharp rock and she cut the foreskin off their son, and she threw it at his feet and said, you a bloody man because of the circumcision. Why? Because you forgot the circumcision, man. You forgot to circumcise our son, man. The angel was going to come and kill you. Y'all see that? That word don't go out void. When you disrespect this law, that comes back on you. Y'all see that? So we gotta watch that, man. We gotta know that once we know these laws, it's our job to do them and do them in the spirit that they were intended, as well as the letter. Y'all understand? So not just the letter of the law, but knowing the spirit behind it, knowing why, knowing the reason, knowing the how, and making sure it cleanses us spiritually. All right. 14. Okay, so we're going through 17. I'm looking at this. Verse 14. Matthew chapter 8, verse 14. And when Yahushua was coming to Peter's house, he saw his wife's mother laid and sick of a fever. And he touched her hand, and the fever left her, and she arose and ministered unto them. When the even was come, they brought unto him many that were possessed with devils, and he cast out the spirits with his word, and healed all that were sick, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying, himself took our infirmities and bare our sickness. What word do you think he was speaking that healed them? That's why I said we got to see the whole point of why the lepers would have to go into the temple. They would have to be in the sanctuary being cleansed and then smelling the incense and being around the presence. You understand? Hearing the word of the Most High being spoken all day and all night. being sung. You understand? Why? Because those words helped heal. That's why when they went to Christ, you think he was just talking out his own mouth? All he was saying was, yeah, you're healed, you're healed, you're healed, you're healed. Oh, he was speaking to them about the books, the law. You understand? And that started healing them. Y'all got to understand it. He started giving them the understanding of the law. And that started to heal them. Them believing. Like we read in Romans 10:14. How should they believe in him whom they have not heard? And how should they hear without a preacher? What was he giving them? He was preaching to them. Y'all see that? And so they started to believe. And their faith was making them whole again. They got around that spirit, got out of that sick mind state, got out of that sick mentality. That staying in the bed all day, that thinking everybody around you is just being wicked, and that evil suspicion getting all in your mind about everybody around you. They got out of that mind state. Y'all see that? That lazy, slothful mind state that comes with just laying in the bed all day. Y'all see that? They started getting around that spirit, and it started to heal them. Y'all see this? Right, so this is what the whole point was when we were reading back in Leviticus of them coming in and having to be with the priests. Not the doctors, the physicians, but with the priests. Understand? Right, so when y'all get sick, when y'all get in your sickness, man, you want to try to be around that, try to be around in that spirit at least, hearing that word. All right? There's no reason that you so sick you can't at least turn on the YouTube channel. All right? You got a communicable disease. We don't want you coming in here coughing on everybody and all that, and you get tuberculosis, and everybody else catch it, right? But at the same time, you can at least turn the YouTube on, man. You understand? You can still get that word, man, so you can be healed here. And you don't dwell in that sickness, that sick mind state and mentality. All right? So that's it on the reading. Do we have any questions? Right on time. Well, with that, we're going to conclude class then. We thank y'all for joining us. Again, if you have questions or anything like that, you see how we deal. Come back Monday from 7 to 10 p.m. Monday. And we'll be here, 8524 South Braeswood Boulevard, Houston, Texas, 77071. We're also out there in Albuquerque at 501 Copper Avenue Northwest. And that's in Albuquerque, New Mexico. 87102, and we're in San Antonio at 4219 Centergate Street, San Antonio, Texas 78217. All right. Again, any questions or comments, you can call or text me at 832-941-2443, or call and text Kazaki at 281-707-2737, or hit us up at Hidden Truth 12. That's Hidden Truth 12@gmail.com. Again, we are collecting for brothers to be able to go out to Trinidad. We've shut down one of the businesses to free up brothers for time. So if y'all can help with the rent and just the bills of the school, that's all we asking is vow of $150 per month from each person, at least $100. All right, where that'll take care of the bills of just the school. That way we're freed up and we can go ahead and put any money and profit from the other business into going out to Trinidad and getting brothers out there. All right. But yeah, you can put that money in account number 101-580-6167 in Wells Fargo. All right. It's account number 101-580-6167. It's under Israelite School of Biblical History. But with that, we're going to say shalom. What? You got a question? Okay. What we got?
It's Proverbs chapter 24, verse 11 to 12.
All right, let's get that.
Proverbs chapter
24, verse 11. And it says, if thou forbear to deliver them that are drawn unto death, and those that are ready to be slain, if thou sayest, behold, we knew it not, that not he that pondereth the heart consider it, and he that keepeth thy soul, that not he know it, and shall not render to every man according to his works.
Okay, read that one more time.
Proverbs chapter 24, verse 11. If thou forbear to deliver them that are drawn unto death.
Right, so if you hold back, like the scripture says in Leviticus 19:17, thou shalt not hate your brother in your heart, thou shalt in any wise rebuke your neighbor, thou shalt not suffer sin upon him. If you hold back, I think it's again in Ezekiel 33, where he talks about if the watchman, he doesn't tell the people of the city, their blood is upon him, right? So if you hold back and decide you're not going to say nothing when you see a brother sinning or doing something that is going to get him killed, then and you get in this mindset like, oh, I didn't know, I didn't see him, well, I didn't know that was wrong. You lying, man. The Most High is going to get you. All right, so read that again, Proverbs 24:11.
Proverbs chapter 24, verse 11. If thou forbear to deliver them that are drawn unto death, and those that are ready to be slain, if thou sayest, behold, we knew it not, that not he that pondereth the heart consider it, and he that keepeth thy soul, doth not he know it.
Right, so you can lie to men, but the Most High knows your thoughts, man. He know you lying. He know you could have took your time, but you didn't want to. You got slothful and lazy, and you didn't want to put your energy into dealing with that situation. Y'all see that? So he knows your thoughts, man. That's between you and him. That's why he said their blood is upon you. All right? Was that it? Read.
And shall not he render to every man according to his works?
See, he gonna do the same thing when it's your time to be delivered from death. Oh, the bullets flying, now you want to call on me? Well, what'd you do when that brother was about to die too? What'd you do when that brother and that sister needed you and they called you up late at night and they needed some counsel and they needed to keep themselves from death? What did you do? Oh, I didn't see the phone ringing. I didn't get your text, brother. Yeah, okay. I didn't get your prayer, brother. This is going to happen to you, man. Y'all see that? All right, so, okay, all right. So if that's it on that, again, we'll conclude class and we'll say shalom. And come and join us Monday, again, 7 to 10 p.m. And, oh yeah, don't forget, kids class will be back on in May. All right, it's not tomorrow, it's going to be in May. All right, but with that, we're going to say shalom. Shalom.